Hello my beautiful badgers, Messi Coda here with a classic live dev interview with Astrofish Games. In this video, Astrofish gives us tips on how to create amazing AAA looking art. Since this video was done, he's uploaded a load more amazing assets to the asset stores. Catch my reviews of those, links down below. Sit back, enjoy, and I'll see you all in a second. Everyone sitting at home around the world in front of your Amazon TVs, your fancy Google Watches, your mobiles, your tablets, your laptops, devices of the future, give a warm and messy welcome to Astrofish Chris.
Hello.
From Astrofish Games. Hello, buddy. Welcome.
Hey.
And thank you for coming on such short notice.
No, you're very welcome. I work from home, so I wasn't going out anywhere.
So you sent me a message today saying hello, and that Aquarius Max had said lots of lies about how nice I was.
I wanted to say, actually, I've never done a shout out anywhere ever before, so big shout out to Aquarius Max. Yeah, because I think he mentioned you, and so I looked you up.
If somebody wants to do an exclamation mark Max in chat, Aquarius Max is so famous. He has his own command on the Discord as well.
Nice, I'm gonna find
so
that.
if we put it on the old Twitch Rooney exclamation mark Max, thank you so much, Gilda, for the exclamation mark Max. And yeah, Max is a very beautiful badger. And Chris, did you know that Max has got really good wood?
He's got good wood.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't. I think he did give me an offer to take a closer look at his wood in in exchange for having a closer look at my wood.
Well, he did say your wood beats his wood. He was saying that you have got tremendous wood.
Well, we'll have to do a wood swap.
I mean, it comes as a massive challenge to beat Max's wood, and I would say that I don't want to have a wood off, as it were, because things might get messy indeed. And Gildar's already asking who has the best wood, and Max says he hasn't seen it close up. Now, I'm not sure if Max has told you that I like to mush my face up against things. I'm going to share my screen with you.
That's one of the things he did say.
Did he say that?
Yeah. That's why I was gutted, the fact that Unity only had a 4 gig cap, because I'm like, I've got to get, these were all 8K textures. Before, and I was like, so I've got to reduce it down. Are you using linear instead of gamma space?
No, yes, I am.
All right.
Are you a gamma man?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I prefer gamma, I think.
You're the first I've met. No, you're the second.
Everybody bangs on about linear, but the thing is, I mean, gamma's where all the exponential fall-offs are and stuff. Like, linear only gives you so much. I think the reason that I don't like linear is because when I was at UB doing mobile stuff, we spent ages looking at these pesky light maps, and why they look rubbish on rubbish on mobile and great on PC, and it's because mobile can only do linear. I think I don't think it was the other way around. Although one of the coders there was trying to convince me that it was. But I'm sure that
I thought it was the other way around. I thought that's why gamma's by default on Unity.
No. Because linear, it's in the name. Linear fall off. So all of the dark, so all of the shadows, and all of the dark bits of like a light map and stuff, or any indeed lighting or anything, it has like an exponential fall off, and it's multiplied X number of times. It's like going from a high dynamic range to blur. Personally, that's why I don't like linear.
Well, can I just say one thing, as you were telling this beautiful story and an explanation. Now, if anyone in chat, I'm not going to say it myself, but can anyone in chat who was listening to that, did you pick up on a name drop in that? No, Chris, don't say a word. I want to hear someone. I want to know in chat who was listening, eagle-eared to you, and was able to pick up a little name drop that you had at the start of that story. Ubi. There we go. Gildor was like his ears lifted up as he heard. Now, I normally do the old interview, say, "Hey, you person I don't know, give a little story about yourself. How did you get into, game development? What do you do? Who are you? Blah blah blah." And he went straight in there. Oh, well, I was at Ubi. We blah 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 blah. So, is this like sit Ubu sit, or is this Ubisoft?
No, this is Ubisoft. So they got a studio in London that does mobile games. I think they started with Hungry Shark and then got acquired by Ubisoft, and then obviously it all went downhill from there. So I think we were working on Hungry Dragons, but then like recently the Barcelona, when I was there anyway, I got brought on to set up Hungry Dragons for the art side, and then it got canned, and then years later the Barcelona team picked it up when I wasn't there. Like 2 studios later, and it's out actually. It looks quite nice. But anyway, I digress. It's about a 50-person studio. Ubisoft's got tons of studios everywhere. They're one of the biggest publishers, so it's not really a claim to fame, I would say.
But it's not a claim to fame.
It's not really. I mean, I can tell you a story, for example, about the concept art. One of the concept artists we hired. She was working as an intern, but in a completely different industry, in the office downstairs. And she walked up with her sketch pad and was like, "Look, I do all this, and I know you're Ubisoft," and we just hired her. It's
oh my god! See, look, I'm so glad. Okay, that you've just said that story, because there's I was involved in a Twitter rant. Now everyone who knows me, that when I'm ill, laying in bed, and I have a mobile phone in my hand, I'm a dangerous. I put Donald Trump in a corner. You give him a run for his money. And in chat, you say Hungry Shark, my brain says Baby Shark, and I was thinking the same thing too. I've got no idea what Hungry Shark is, and I was just sitting there going, "Hungry Shark, do 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 do, Hungry Shark, do do do."
Anyway, the game's just as addictive.
I'll have to play with it.
I mean, I'm a developer and I spent money on it. Honestly, I don't want to plug this. Oh, what's going on with all this? Is this how it imported?
I've got all the I've got the GPU instance and the culling and stuff on, so I've got it down.
So I've imported it into 3 versions of Unity. I've never done this. Okay.
That's what I'm here for, mate. That's what I'm here. That's why Max introduced you to me.
Wait, no, I see what's going on. No, some of the faces are flipped. So you got negatives. Everything that has negative scale has their faces flipped. So there's something being done on the machine in your version of Unity, which is flipping all the faces on anything that is scaled negatively.
So I didn't break it. Object. I promise. I promise I didn't break it. Are you
using OpenGL or DirectX? I've seen this somewhere before. Yeah, okay, so make sure you're using DirectX. Make sure it's... I don't think Linear would do this. Anyway, if you just open... If you're a guy or a girl and you take Unity and you open it up and you import the package, this won't happen. So I'm not entirely sure what would cause...
What did I break? Should I remove all of the GPU instances?
Oh wait, now it's not. I don't think it's... Yeah, please.
Let's remove that. Anyway, what will I do that? I'll say there was a debate that indie studios basically said the worst thing that you could do is to walk into a building with your portfolio or whatever and say, "Here's my CV, here's my portfolio. Can you give me a job?"
No.
Well, and I was quite aggressive in basically because I was laying in bed sick, and saying that many times in my life I've seen people walking off the street, and if they come in, that means they either somebody's told them you need to go out and show some gumption and get your name out there, or B, these guys are desperate. Maybe he's waiting to send his CV off, hasn't got a reply back, so he's figured, you know what, I'm going to walk down there and hand it in myself. And if you don't want to give him an interview, you don't give him an interview there and then. You take your CV, say thank you very much, and I'll let you know. But now they're basically saying it was GDPR kind of stuff, that you can't take someone's CV, and which is,
if it was a really big studio, I would say probably not. I think you kind of got to play it by ear. It's like, if you basically, the process would be this. Let's say you've got a receptionist. We didn't. So she just sort of walked in with no one there, kind of wandered around, and then eventually someone from HR kind of found her and was like, "You're right," and she goes, "Yeah, I got this." And so she went and grabbed Chris Dawson, who's our creative director at the time, and goes, "Chris, you got this person here," blah, blah, blah. And he was like, "Oh, hello." Just had a chat, and it's all really informal. But I guess it depends on how many, like with everything, I guess, it depends on how many layers of faff there is before you can get to the decision maker. Just in her case, she got to the decision maker really quick because it's a really small studio and it was really easy to get in. She was just wandering around the studio.
They would just allowed someone who doesn't work in the place to just walk around unchallenged?
No, she did. There were people in the room. So there was a door. She walked through the door, and then there were people in the room, and then so not. Oh,
It's not like she had a USB stick that she was sneaking in, plugging into computers, and stealing a load of corporate espionage and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Like none of that happened, and they had security things in place, and I think this is they had lots of stuff in place that make sure that would not happen. But it's not like it's the games industry, so again, it's pretty informal. Although obviously there's a lot of stuff that could get nicked during if someone's just walk in, but there's plenty of stuff.
That's why I hate WeWorks. I hate
turning
WeWorks.
The story into it's an accurate story, but it's not nothing like that.
I've removed GPU instances, and SquarePeg's asking about what was I using. I was using the asset GPU instancer, and the thing about the GPU instancer, if anyone remembers when I was doing the no collider in the top, no crash reads as well. You need to.
Are you walking around?
I am walking around.
Oh, cool! I've only flown around this. I haven't walked around with.
I've crashed myself in. You need to basically prepare your prefabs properly if you're using the GPU instancer. Don't just chuck it in and hope for the best, which I just did because I was just.
I think if we didn't negatively scale stuff, it would be a massive drawback for no really good reason. Because imagine having loads of models and then you just kind of want to have them flipped in one axis, but you can't. Especially when you're building a modular environment that needs to be quite big. It'd just be a nightmare. Do you know how long it would convert to gamma? It'd be really good to see it in gamma. But I don't know. It might.
The voice is a little bit low.
Sorry.
Kids are sleeping.
I don't know how long it would take to convert to gamma, but it would be really good to see it using gamma space, just because that's how it was designed. But I think it might it might take like 5 minutes, and I know you want to kind of have a look around this place and stuff.
SquarePeg saying I should do a crash course on the GPU instancer. I should do a crash course on the GPU instancer. I have when I put some effort in and I play with it, I'm actually able to do quite a lot of sexy things with it. But I didn't really have that much time before the stream to do it, to be honest. Let's
Yeah, this is all. I think you got this like how long ago? Like a couple of hours ago, I think.
Yeah, well, I put it in about an hour when the kids putting the kids to bed, and it's massive. It is like 4 gig, 3.8 gig asset.
Yeah, so I gotta say though, all of these, so all of the files, they're all the raw files. So what happens with Unity is when they get into Unity, they get crunched right down, and then for the build, it's literally 90% textures. So because they're all 4Ks and a couple of 8Ks in there, but that's how people to have access to the highest res they possibly could, so they can then reduce as needed. What Unity 400 meg, 500 meg, something like that. In the editor. So
Unity's eating up my CPU while it's trying to convert this now, and you're breaking up, and I can't even. It keeps on kicking out the voice because it's causing so much to try and do this. Oh,
can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Oh my word! So what have you? While we wait for Unity to convert to gamma from linear, while we wait 6 hours for this to happen.
Hello.
And hello back.
Hello?
Should not have done that. And you can't click cancel either.
Oh, I think this might be your side, mate.
It is. It's me because of.
Oh, is it? I thought.
No.
Is it because of the? Okay.
And Max is going bad, Messi, bad.
just. Yeah, so this will get crunched down to like 400 or 500 meg. So it's not like in your game you won't have like 4 gigs of textures. It's just the raw without compression. So also, we'll be releasing like a polygon like prototype version of this. So it's basically going to be full faceted. Basically, look, it'll be like that. But this exact pack, so you can sort of prototype with it. I price point right now, but it's probably going to be around about like.
Oh, you cut off.
I
couldn't. You cut off just as you were about to say how much. He's like, "Will be about."
Oh no!
And then the voice went down. I think I'm gonna have to kill Unity. I'm gonna have to kill it.
Okay, do it.
I'm gonna have to kill it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, do it. Go for it, man. It's all right.
I feel really bad. Have you got the build ready? You can send me the build that you made, and then I can just I load up the build, and that then will show it in all its beautiful glory. I was enjoying running around, shoving my face up against stuff, though. To be fair.
Do you want the link to the demo house?
Yeah, send me the link to what you've made so far.
Cool. So,
how big is it?
Get shareable link. It is 700 meg.
That's not too big.
Yeah, cool. Can edit. Anyone with a link can edit. All right, cool.
All right, so anyone who... Oh, that used to be my headphones. Anyone who missed what Chris was saying earlier because of robot voice and Unity for the CPU, if you would like to
just... fully modular, yeah. Right.
Say again what you are working on next.
Oh, me, sorry. Yeah, so just... And also just because it's a cool style, we're releasing a polygon version of the pack. So it's going to be, you've seen one of Cinti's poly, $20, $30, something like that. And
so
not even that.
You're taking them on? You're taking them head on?
They were an inspiration, to be honest. They showed that you could be successful on the Unity Asset Store, which was great. And we were like, well, there's loads of other stores out there too. The thing is, this is what we want to do. We want to use the whole buffalo. So we want to do the highest possible quality that we can, like really high definition ZBrush sculpts and everything. We want to sell the IMM, so release all the multi-mesh brushes to people so they can build their own environments using all these high definition sort of modules and individual, like a log beam and this, that, and the other. And then, because that's how we build it, we've created a modular pack of beams and nails and tiles and things, and then we've built modules in ZBrush using those, and then we've used those to build this pack. But then from this pack, because we have the ZBrush stuff, we can then derive easily sort of any style that we want. We can have a polygon faceted pack, which will take not very long to build. We have like a World of Warcraft style. I've done a lot of that in my past. I love hand painted texturing stuff, so we can do this exact same pack in that style. So we can do that, and that's the idea. And then eventually down the line, it'd be great to do like a Megascan style website but for the built environment. So we wouldn't be taking Megascans on, but Megascans do biomes. So we'd just be kind of complementing that with handmade, hand sculpted environments, high end to sort of lower fidelity. Sort of on a subscription basis, pick a model, grab a model. I want this fidelity. Boom, done. Here's a couple of points. Cost a couple of points. That's the dream. But right now, I think what we're focusing on is just trying to get the system of building these as refined as possible. And once we get as much feedback as we possibly can from people using the packs, we're going to be highly iterative on it. We have to be. So all the feedback that I'm getting from you and anyone else, straight in the pack. This is why Ross, for example, on your Discord was like, yeah, I kind of want to see. Can you like release a demo asset? That'd be great. I'd like to be able to see something before I'm a bit unsure about whether it's going to be right for me. And so I was like, well, you know what? I'm going to see if maybe a build could work. So I just got a build out, and this is what I think Messi's downloading now. It's literally just the demo house, and I've built up an interior in it because, again, a lot of people have been saying, this would be great, but we just need, it'd be great to have interiors as well. And it may not be clear enough, but we've got, you can use the same pack to build interiors. Now, the major difference between it being an exterior pack, which currently kind of is an exterior pack, to it also being an interior pack, is we've built a lot of pre-made layers of buildings, so pre-built buildings, using these pieces to show it off as an exterior pack. However, what we'll be doing in the next update is building pre-made interiors using the same assets, just so you can see that it's also can be used as an interior pack. However, it's not been designed as an interior pack, so we'll also eventually be releasing relatively soon an interior pack. Sorry, so it's missing the Unity build files. It shouldn't be. It's 700 meg. Hold on.
The DLLs and stuff.
In data, so you need to put the date. So Astrofish Games _HD medieval village.exe. Take that with the Astrofish Games _HD medieval village _data. Put both of those files in the same place.
Yeah.
Double click the
Yeah, no, it's not. It doesn't. It doesn't like it because it's got
really?
the Unity player DLL and assembly and all that nonsense. It's complaining that that's not in there.
It works, yeah. This is software development, folks. I think Messi can probably.
There you go. Can you see my screen?
Code execution can be frozen. Unity player.dll was not found. You know what? That's okay. I built this in 2019. I really would have thought that me building this in 2019, because you don't have 2019 installed, would not mean that you can run a build.
It wants all of its nonsense as well. Hang on, what are we going on? So much buffering on your end. I'm not running anything anymore.
It's actually okay now.
I've closed my Unity down completely. We're just chatting.
It was just a few minutes that it was buffering a lot. Maybe there's a lag. 5 minutes.
Yeah, just refresh the page, Maxi. Right. So you would have a lot more. I'm going to say a lot more fun because that's not the right thing to say. But you would have a lot of fun on the Unreal.
Yeah,
because they're not limited by 32 bits like Unity is. Don't get Sengoku started on Unity and its 32-bit limitations.
I don't know this. I should know this. I've been using Unity since version 2. I've been using Unity since before it was even on PC. It was only
Yeah,
Mac.
on Mac. I keep telling people that, and they're like, "No, it never was." I was like, "Yes, it
Yeah,
was." I used to have to build a Mac hard drive on my Intel PC just so I could run it. So,
yeah. We were looking for something to use the web player. So I was working at a company called Z Mapping. They do like 3D city data. This is in Canary Wharf actually, so you should know it well. Um, so it was so we were using like for architects and engineers and such. We were like we want to show this data off in online, so we can send a link to customers. Um, and we were using something called Turn Tool, which was awful. It's like a plugin for Macs. And they were like, "Oh, Unity, this newfangled engine! Wow, this is awesome! Look at this! It can do all this! It can do all this! It can do all this!" This is just off the back of sort of me coming from a game studio and into here, and I was like, "Oh, but it's only Mac." And then I think as soon as we started having a look at it, within about 3 or 4 months, it went straight PC. And that was great. That was what? That must have been 2008, 2009, right?
no, I think a little before that.
Okay, well, 2007. It was at
Yeah,
least 2000, 2007.
I think. I'm trying to think.
Oh,
When was it?
you got 2019. Oh man. Okay, you're what's the word? Proactive. Whilst I've been just chatting, I'm not going to swear on stream. Chatting. You've you've downloaded. Oh, great stuff. Okay. Hopefully it is this.
All right. So I'm. Hang on. Oh, we got. I don't think I've heard much of anything in the past 10 minutes. Oh, Max.
Max.
Oh, is it been buffering that much for you, pal? Oh, mate, you'll have to watch the VOD. You'll have to watch the VOD, mate.
Is it?
VOD it.
You just is anybody else experiencing this? Maybe you need. Did you refresh the stream, Matt?
Bit Gamey just said he had to just reload the page, and Bit Gamey's
Yeah.
in work for you now, isn't it? Bit Gamey with his special first founder icon, waving it proudly for everyone to see.
Oh, mate. Okay.
Stream crashes, and Goku saying the stream crashed. It's fine after reloading. See, everyone's fine. I just blame Max for not reloading. That's all right. Many reloads. Oh, many reloads. That's all right. All good
But yeah,
now.
Unity is fun. I love Unity. I mean, Unreal is competing really well. And I think Unreal had a really bad licensing problem, and they didn't quite understand the market, to be honest, and it was coming up on their rear, which was Unity and all the indie devs and how easily accessible Unity was making game development for everybody. And I think Unreal was literally caught like leaping, and they really had to up their game. And to be fair to them, they did. They did because they're epic, quite literally. So
Wow.
they did well. They did well.
Well, to be
And I used Unreal like for a bit, so a couple of projects, and I played around with UE for a while, like 4 years ago, but I haven't touched it since. And so that's why I haven't put this on the Unreal market.
so which engines have you used for work? I mean, wait, before that, let's say
A pain in the backside, to be
which
quite
different studios have you
It's
been
going to
at?
take a little bit of time, so I might sort of not make it so big next time
That's what she
for
said.
Unreal. And also, it's a really small marketplace compared to.
Hang on. Oh, I think my Unity's eating up the CPU now. One moment. I wave it proudly whenever the law allows. The stream repeats every few seconds.
Oh, okay. So the compiling shader variants
Yeah.
is doing your PC and.
So while it does this, let's just tell us about all the different studios that you've been at. I mean, you've been doing this now for what, over a decade? So you've been using Unity since the Mac days, and it's 2019 now. So let's do the maths. So at least 11 years you've been in the game biz. Although you can't hear me, Chris.
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me? Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me now? You can't hear me. I'll call you back. Oh, I think you can hear me. There you go. Can you hear me now?
Hey, yeah.
Now
Sorry,
you can hear me.
Um,
Boo!
yeah. Did you hear anything about the Unreal
I did.
stuff?
I could hear you. I'm sure everyone else could hear.
Oh, okay. It's a small marketplace, and I haven't touched it in about 4 years. I've used it for a couple of projects. I don't want to name drop because it's um,
No, name no,
ask,
so,
ask me the ask me the question.
name drop because I was saying you couldn't hear me. I was saying
I,
you've been doing
I
this for over 10 years now because you said you've been playing with Unity when it was on Mac.
yeah.
So we're doing the maths. That's at least 11 years. So
I
where have you
used to work
been
for a
in these
small
11 years?
company called Warner Brothers Rocksteady, which did Batman Arkham Knight or Batman Arkham series. Um, I was a senior environment artist on the city team, so doing exterior, open world, modular environments. And this is built the exact same way with lower spec, actually. Like on Batman Arkham
Hang on,
Knight.
wait. Don't just skip straight past that. Go like, I love that. I love those games. One
There,
thing, they're
I,
beautiful.
I liked Arkham City. I didn't play the one before it.
Do you play the games you work on, or are you like
I
an
do.
actor?
No, I do. No. I do. I do until they bore me. Um, I'm sorry. Like I can play Arkham Knight for maybe like the first 20% of the game, and then I'm bored. And I know I've seen everything, but I'm an artist. Look, the thing is, I can totally understand people get immersed in video games. People that don't build in video games, but for the people that build video games, especially people that for an open world game like Batman, a lot of the amazement is exploring the environment. And I've already seen it like up close and personal. And so when I'm playing it, all I've got as escapism is the narrative and the design. The design's awesome. The gameplay mechanics are great, but it's the same thing over and over and over again. And then the narrative draws you in and exploring the city. So all I've got left really is the narrative. The narrative for me wasn't strong enough to keep me going. Um, so it's like I don't play games much anymore. If they are, because I've got two kids, and so it's time is a struggle. Time for work is a struggle enough. Time for computer games is even harder.
How old are your kids?
One's 4, and we've got a 5-month-old.
Oh wow. They're the
So
four. Are you allowing the 4-year-old to play on tablets and consoles?
um, a bit, yeah. So like got like educational stuff on the tablets, and I think I had a little retro. I love retro gaming because it is the one thing that I can get escapism from because I didn't work on that generation of games. So for me, it's my youth, and also I I have no technical connection with it. So I can pick up. I've got like a little retro game console that came out a while ago called the Pocket Go, which um, you can play emulators on and stuff, and it's amazing. It's really good. And they've got a new one coming out, the Pocket Go 2, which can play PlayStation, and it's the one I got was $40, and you can play every single game, and old up to the PS1.
What
PS1 just
Pocket Go?
Pocket Go, yeah, and I've just ordered an RG 350, which can play PlayStation up to 60 FPS. It's amazing. In the first place, like PS1 games, I love the fact that they're like there's no anti-aliasing, and it's all
I
bitty
don't
and a little
know.
bit warped and stuff. That is the stuff that hooks me. Whereas when they change all that, I'm like, it's just what I work with now on a daily basis, and the escapism is just lost.
I don't. I like stuff from my Spectrum days. To be honest, mate.
Ah, Spectrum. Okay, that's a little bit. I was probably I didn't pick that up too much. I think Commodore, like a few friends had a yeah, but I haven't played a Spectrum that much. Have you still got one?
I've got one. My mum's got it in the cupboard. My 16K.
Amazing. Oh, that's really cool.
I came across. I'm going to show you this. Somebody in Discord dropped this in when they showed your stuff, and they're like they loved how it just your pack just felt like getting a old the proper model tabletopped.
Oh yes, yeah. Hold on, which channel was that? That was the voice channel, wasn't it? The live dev questions. Yeah. So I put a link in there. Tabletop World. That was an inspiration actually. And I've got a link to my Pinterest, which has got all of my boards, all of my inspirational boards in. I have so many throughout the past sort of 7 or 8 years, for like reference for games and stuff. When I was working on games, but the Tabletop World, yeah. I was like, I want to build models. I want to sculpt models that look like that. And then, because
so did you buy the physical ones or just look at the pictures?
No, I just looked at the pictures. But I mean, I've got enough experience to know that it matches up. Like if I was to take what I know to be a sculpted pack, it would look sort of similar, because I thought these were ZBrush models when I first saw them. They don't look like actual models to me, probably because they're studio lit. Are you looking at the website now? I haven't got it up actually.
Oh yeah. I'm on. You can see I'm still sharing screen. I'm not sharing now because I stopped the chat, didn't
I? I haven't got your. Yeah, I'm gonna mute your chat. I'm gonna mute your stream. Put it on actually.
There you go.
Yeah. So if you look, there might be a few bits that you recognise. I don't know. I think to be honest, the pack's evolved a lot since the initial reference. I tried to document it as I went along, but it just took too long. And I've got tidbits here and there. I want to put it all on Facebook and Twitter, and just have all of the stuff that I documented whilst I was building it, and just sort of release all that. But yeah, technically, I think the process I went through to take the ZBrush models and retopo them was essentially fill in the gaps, put primitives in the really high detail little modules, like each brick is sculpted, put like prims in there, and then essentially shrink wrap it and then optimize it. And because of that, I think most of the models are watertight, which means most of the modules can be printed.
Really? Oh, you've got some people in chat with a 3D printer, Yolan.
But so I'd need to provide the high res to anybody who needs to print it. I'd need to it's going to take some work to get it all together, but I do want to do that eventually. I might even see if we can do it once, and then if we can prove that it works, then we can then claim that it works. I don't like claiming stuff that I can't prove. So I think it's, yeah, I don't know, that'd be interesting.
This is the flying camera. Squarepeg says he's getting a 3D printer. Nice. My wife won't let me get one.
Hold on, I'm on 360. Okay, there we go. 75 FPS, 80 FPS. There's no interiors in these. There's no collision. Well, there's no collision because it's the fly camera, but there is collision on all of these models.
Yeah,
and this is all.
There's collision apart from. There was, where is it? There's something here. There.
Oh, cool.
That bit there. There was something there that made me drop. Where was it? I'll have to find it again. There was something.
Oh, no. I think I remember where it was. Turn around.
Here, this one. There it is. That's where it was. I went in through this. Did I go through this hole?
It was that one there, right in there. You fell in.
Fell in the hole. Well, there isn't going to be a collider in the hole, is there?
No, there shouldn't be a hole. No, I think I did fill that with some floorboards.
With the dreams of the children.
I'm one guy, and this is such a complex pack. It will be evolving, and
because I don't want any excuses. I want results, all right?
No, 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 no. Well, and exactly. You guys will get all of these things are gold to me because I can go in and fix that. I can go in and fix that. I can go in and fix that. So it makes
One of my
you
favorite
you're
interviews I had,
getting
I did with Cincy Studios, and I was walking around. I drop in the standard controller. I was walking around chatting to him, and it was offline at this point. We were just chatting, and I was walking around, mushing my face up against things, and I looked up, and there was a load of missing faces, and you could just see through stuff, and there's
oh dear.
and I went to him and so you don't really walk around and look at your stuff. And he goes, "Oh my god," because I've never put a controller in and walked around from this view because we're always looking at it. Since you see, I said they were always looking at it from this view, every time they're
Oh,
doing stuff, and they never just dropped in a controller to walk around here and then
you
look up.
see, I haven't either. I've used this fly camera. This is the only thing I've used to build this. I do apologize. However, I think I've been building this stuff enough over the years that I know I like to think that I know that what works and what doesn't. So when we're on, like, for example, going back to the City team, the Arkham Knight stuff, I built this exactly the same way we would build that, except with a much lower budget. Because that you would get a bunch of cables that is literally maybe a foot by a foot, and that was 4,000 tries. I remember looking at them and going, guys, what's going on? You're running this on a supercomputer, and they were like, no, no, the coders told us to just chuck anything we want at it, and it will work. It's not literally how they would do it. And it was, I don't know, it was,
What engine were they using for that? Oh, you know what I had to say.
it was unreal. No, no, I'm allowed that. Well, it's well known it was unreal.
That's a little bit
But no,
harsh.
the thing is, they got it.
Wasn't that well known. I didn't know.
Oh no, 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 no. I'm just saying from that point of view, am I allowed to say? Yeah, yeah, it's unreal. The thing is, I got to remember I'm on stream actually. So no, it, they they had a few trouble. I mean, it's known, it's not well known. It's known that there was a few problems with streaming at launch, how like streaming in levels. However, like it was really well optimized in the end. So they did. I think it did run pretty well eventually, and I had a lot of I had a lot of fun working on that, and it was the team there is amazing. Um, but the I when I first had a look at how they were doing stuff, I had a lot of questions. They did answer them, and it I think it was done. Yeah, they answered them with what they were doing in engine, and so this is why I think I needed to apply what I knew about what Unity was capable of to this, which is different to what their custom sort of engine could do. But but I mean, you know, you walk around uh, Gotham in Arkham City, Arkham Knight, you'll see that everything, you know, the very highly detailed. Um, and the way they did that is it's sort of similar to what I'm doing now with this.
Which is the which studio would you say that you learned the most from working at? Cheeky question.
Ooh, probably Ubisoft. Probably, I think because they gave us the most freedom. Bigger studios, you don't get as much. You kind of get, yeah, you don't get as much. It's all processed. So it, systemized, I guess is the best way to describe it. Whereas when you're in a small studio and you're wearing many hats, you have to kind of be in charge of your own processes to a much larger degree, and so you kind of you get to learn everything more or less. I ran a small mobile studio for a couple of years in between gigs uh, early on in my kind of career. It was for about it was about 3 years, and so working on mobile, especially in Unity, going from console, which was my first gig, to mobile, gave me kind of that breadth of understanding of what Unity could. Well, actually, no, the first one wasn't Unity. what engines could do, and what you could do in 3D at that time. And obviously now it's 10 years later, tracking what Unity is capable of now. I've just had to adjust, like I guess everybody has. But yeah, so which studio have I sort of learned the most from? Any studio where you have the most freedom, and for me, obviously, it's been working for myself. So, like with Astrofish and Pandian CV4, which is on my Twitch name, that was I failed a lot running that studio. I was living off very, very, very almost nothing. We just towards the end of it, we got a nice little contract from an agency, and we did an AR. I think it was a 4-way multiplayer AR racing game, point of sale at Goodwood Festival of Speed. That and with Auto Trader and Alfa Romeo, and that was great. And then I'm like, I'm not doing it again. I want to go and work for someone because this is too stressful.
I was gonna ask you, but before I do ask, Tech Trader's saying how big was Rocksteady?
150 maybe, something like that. I mean, I don't. It's quite big. So 150 for a really big for a studio creating a game of that pedigree. It's not big. Like Ubisoft, I think has 1,000 people working on Assassin's Creed. Where I think if you keep the team small, anything over 150, I think there was like a study done. Anything over 150 people, divide the studio, like, or divide the company. Like, you can't have meaningful relationships outside of 150 people. I think it is, because I think that's what villages used to be. I think it was 150 people was the maximum, and then it would all start to break. So if you get, I think that was the largest studio I've ever worked at. Everything else has been sort of anywhere between 10 to 50 people.
Damn, your wood is good, I have to say.
Thank you.
You got. And your tiles and your moss on them. Sanyo's asking, shared materials? ?
Substance materials. I'm not sharing. To be honest, you know what? Look, you want to know how I did the moss. So do this. Go and have a look at ArtStation, and I'll explain exactly how I did the moss. So go and look for moss substance. And I've chatted to this guy, and I explained exactly how I was going to use it.
Link me on Discord. Send me a Discord.
Okay. All right. I'm just saying for the sake of. Where is he? I need to find it now. Oh, there's so many moss materials on ArtStation too.
Are these white spots bird poo?
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Unfortunately, I think they made it across 3 items.
Because this bird here, I don't know what he was doing.
No, he was like lifting upwards. This is the thing. Like the asset, because it's a modular pack. There's you have to kind of have a bit of artistic freedom with the orientation of them, and I think it's fine. I mean, gamers are going to be kind of focused on the game, not sort of focused on whether a bird poo is upside down or
not. That's the other thing that I was sitting there when I was playing about and doing like my little cyberpunk game, and when I was doing my Wild West one, I was spending so much time on trying to make everything perfect. And then you just load up even Red Dead 2 on the PS4 and you're running around and there's like a load of mistakes all over the place. And AAA game, they don't care. It's like, well, no one's going to notice that.
Floating decals in Dishonored 2. There was floating decals on the roof. I was running around like floating decal, floating decal, floating decal. I was like, oh, it's you have to sacrifice speed over quality sometimes. And I am a perfectionist. I spent 6 months building, and but I had a baby in the meantime, and I had to do some London-based postcard graphic stuff, and so um, it got to the point where I was like, I really need to wrap this up. But I'm kind of there. I feel like I spent enough time making sure I got it the way that I wanted it to. I think that, as you mentioned earlier, there are a couple of images like almost semi-tutorial images, like the camera post-processing image. I need to put that in because that isn't in. Essentially, I found out that Unity, and I can thank Aquarius Maxim, Unity doesn't allow you to keep any post-processing or anything in there. So I had to strip it all out.
Yeah, it's weird. Other people, that's the thing. Some people do get away with it. I just wondered, because people are asking about the question that Sanya was asking about shared materials, and if you've got how many materials you've got on these
Oh, I'm sorry.
things here. But just explain, because you were telling me offline about why you're really using atlases and stuff. Just explain to me.
Okay. So, let me just try and think about this and frame it. So these are really high res. Even at 4K, they're pretty high res. So you can down res them as much as you want. The reason I don't atlas stuff is because when you atlas objects that don't belong together. So for example, if I had a door from one building and put it onto an atlas with a chimney, you don't see them in the same scene view, then you will incur a cost for that. Whereas if you take all the roof tiles, all the different roof modules, and you put them onto one atlas, the question you've got to ask yourself is, will these be seen together? Yes, high probability. Okay, put them on one atlas, because you incur a draw call or multiple draw calls for every material that you have. Although you want to minimize the materials that you have because of draw calls, you also want to consolidate them where they're all going to be seen together. For this, I didn't atlas because I did atlas. I was thinking of atlasing a lot more, but I wanted people to have a little bit of freedom moving on. If they want to atlas themselves, and they can. Let me address the shared materials thing. So I'm not using hiding text, if that's what you mean. So all of the interior, all the plaster that you see within these modules, that's not like one tiling texture. Each one of these assets is sculpted. But however, I've tried to reduce the number of assets whilst keeping the reuse as high as possible from a design point of view. So there's four assets to one atlas. There's like 4 wall pieces to one atlas, and there's only maybe 3 atlases for plaster material, plastered walls, a couple of atlases for plastered brick masonry walls. But this is how I've done it before, and the way engines work nowadays is a lot more advanced than what I was using before, especially Unity. And so this is how it processes. This is how it best processes things. So I've seen a lot of stuff in the past that is being used today that is being a lot of people quoting stuff that is valid sort of 2010, 2008, but the way things are done now is the poly count is not so much of a bottleneck. Textures are not so much of a bottleneck. File size is not so much of a bottleneck. I think the resolution, if you start to be silly with the resolution, then it can start to become a bottleneck. But really what you've got to pay attention to is draw calls and lighting. And this is why the RTX stuff, I guess, is starting to come in, because like everything else it's kind of solved now. You don't need to do too much more. Draw distance, that's another thing. This is why you get so many more open world games, because you can have such a higher draw distance with lodding, consolidated lodding. And I think Unity handles this quite well. I think max tries on screen for the big demo scene, I think, is about 2,000,000. 500,000 is probably the minimum. But I think, I mean, that's okay. It's a really packed scene. If you were to take the smaller demo scene, you're not going to have a huge amount. Like most machines won't struggle with that. The reason I'm sculpting everything is because you get the fidelity, but you don't have to rely on geometry too much. And I think it looks quite detailed. Maybe people, when they see it, they're, oh, it's going to be too many polys, but it's not really. I mean, probably less than, probably on par with a lot of other current gen packs are. So you can tell me whether I'm wrong on that one. Messy. I mean, let me ask you a question. So what are your thoughts right now in terms of what you've seen in Unity? Because do you do a lot of Unity environment reviews, like environments you pick up on the asset store? Do you do a lot of reviews on different ones?
I do, and I'm somewhat, maybe I've had complaints I'm overly critical on bizarre things.
Okay.
Like textures on rocks and seams where they shouldn't be, and silly things like that.
Okay.
And my biggest grief is people putting mesh colliders on stuff instead of putting.
I have got mesh colliders on maybe a third of these items, but the reason is because they're all lodded, and so sometimes if you've got an organic shape, I've used a mesh collider with the lowest lod, just so you don't have like loads of sticking out bits using box colliders. But a lot of the stuff is using box colliders.
Well, you made an effort, so yeah.
No, yeah. Absolutely. I think
there's a few asset creators out there, artists, who they've got this kind of level of, from ones I've seen before, of putting that kind of level of work on the models. So sculpting the bricks and the rocks and the stones. Yeah. But what I tend to find is that it's generally, you've got a flat wall and they put the PBR on there to try and make it bobble out a little bit.
Yeah.
And that's about it.
Yeah, I think this came from working in VR. So I think like knowing what you have to, anything that is bigger. Normal maps work on, and I learned, to be honest, I learned this at uni. Anything that is less than 20 centimeters, normal map. Well, not even that. 10 centimeters. Normal maps, like a bump map, just obviously anything that's high noise, use a normal map for, because you can't use geometry really, or use a tessellation shader if you have to. Like really small brickwork, yeah, you can't model that. But things like tiles, you can get the large scale, low frequency definition. You can with the geometry today. You can do that. These roof tiles, 600 tries a piece, 700 tries a piece. And they've got they've got backs to them as well. The ones with backs to them that are also baked to the same resolution, so you can use them for the interior. They're only about 600-700 tries. I say only. Like, I know what it's like to work in a studio where you have coders that can go, yeah, no, that's fine. We can work with that. But obviously, working, I'm quite conscious of the fact that I'd like to try and provide something that people can just use out the box, and not have to really understand too much about how to optimize everything.
That is the important thing, because a lot of people, 95% of your customer base are either never going to make a game with it or wouldn't know how to make an optimized game with it. And they just want to be able to chuck it in, tweak it, play with it, and make something sexy.
This is why I didn't want to go crazy on them. I mean, I could have gone really crazy, but I try to be
Hang on,
at
this
least a
is
bit
this is you
conservative.
not going crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, with today's computers, today's game engine, this is middle of the road. Um, you can you were getting 80 FPS with a non-light map scene in the medium demo scene. That that's got multiple pixel lights, 4K, sometimes somewhere 8K textures. You were getting 80 FPS, and this is in engine. When you run stuff in engine, you've got the engine overheads as well. So when you build it, it always runs better. So what you have in the demo scene, which is the big one, that's packed. I wanted to pack it as full as possible, so that people could really go, oh, okay, struggles here, it struggles here, it struggles here. It's okay here, it's okay. So you can kind of use it as a tech. You can kind of look at it and understand where the potential bottlenecks are. But really, if you've just got a couple of buildings here or there, or if it's sparse, if the buildings are spread out, really like it's very much not a problem. I think to have a few 100,000 tries on screen at one time. Most games are millions of tries these days on middle of the road hardware. So our VR game, Ground Runner Trials. Sorry, I'm going to drop the name.
That's you're more than allowed to name drop your own games.
Thanks,
when
man.
you're being interviewed.
So that game, that's anywhere between 500,000 tries and 2 million, and that runs in VR with PBR textures using mega scans to this sort of style. And that works fine in VR. So like game engines can handle it these days. Maybe look, if you saw this when you open the scene and you set the shadow distance to 150, which is the default, and you take the camera and you increase the draw distance all the way up, you are going to get low FPS. It's just that's the way it is in this scene. Because it's just going to start going 4, 5 million, 6 million, 8 million as soon as the draw distance increases. And also like shadow distance. The one thing that I know about shadow, any light, point lights in deferred rendering, I think you get point lights for free. You can kind of go, okay, multiple point lights for shadows you can kind of get for free. Forward, not so much. Every single time you have a light with shadows, it draws to the depth buffer, and you're essentially drawing the polygons twice. Like every light is another draw of those polygons. So you're increasing essentially the poly count. So we have one direct light in here with a bunch of real-time point lights, which all have shadows. If you increase the shadow distance, and your try count, your virtual try count is just going to blow up. But if you bake the lighting using direct shadow masking, just shadow masking, you're not really going to notice it at sort of 30 meters away. Not even that, you could probably bring it right into 15 meters, and you're not really going to notice it because the lighting is low frequency, apart from the direct light, like the shadows even is low frequency. But it's like it's knowing little things like this. So where does the balance lie? It's like giving people a high-end pack, but sort of trusting them to kind of understand or ask questions, which I'm happy to answer on our Discord, about what they can do to make it work really well with their project.
But you're basically turning in your Discord into a optimization college for your customers.
Yeah, I don't mind doing that. I think that when you offer, this is why I'm also doing a polygon version as well, because that runs where you saw it running at like 30 or 40 FPS, where it's really high density. That was easily running at 90 to 100. You want to kind of go, okay, this is the modular pack as it is. You can have a play with it or build a game with it, whatever you want, prototype with it. When you want to use this, you can use it even just without doing any of these optimizations. just a small village, buildings here and there. If you want to do something really dense like this, I'm happy to sort of go over it with you, and work out.
Oh,
I mean,
you've let yourself in for it now, because I'll just
yeah,
be
that's fine.
harassing you loads on Discord. I love these things that you've put here as well. I think
Oh,
you're the only person I've seen to have done this. On the left hand
okay.
side, you've got these tips, and then you.
So there's rope. There should be rope around those. There's ropes, and I think little like bolts and things. Yeah, I also got to stress. So everything you see in the screenshot, everything you see in the videos, are all included in the pack. I wanted to make sure that that was a thing. So that's what it took me an extra bit of time to do, which is making sure I had a little bit of foliage in, a little bit of the ground cover rocks, and because I could have probably bought those and then tried to talk to some of the other asset store devs and go, yeah, can I use these as an example? I'm not sure how it works, to be honest. I don't know how you go, can I use other people's assets to show off my pack to do? I guess you can sort of list it.
People are generally nice.
Yeah, I just don't know how it works. So I wanted to make sure that everything in the pack was what you got, because otherwise people get confused. And people are getting confused at the moment whether interiors will work, whether it comes with interiors. It doesn't. To be honest, it doesn't. It doesn't come with interiors, but you can build an interior pack. So you got to be careful with what you build as a demo. I guess that's essentially what you're showing that it can build. So this is why I'm building pre-built interior rooms that will fit with every single one of these buildings now for the next update.
So
just because
what's coming next? Is it the next update of this, or is it your prototype pack, or is it
no,
your
no,
polygon
no.
pack?
So I'm working on the polygon, but that's almost done. That'll be done in a week. I'll be submitting it maybe in a week. And so
and that's about 25 quid, you said?
About that, probably, yeah, maybe less. I'm humming and hawing over it. Maybe it will be the same cost as Snaps pack, to be honest. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But honestly, that's there for people to just take a look at how it's all built and modularized um, and to, if they want, then upgrade to using this and swap out the asset. But I need to kind of work out whether that process is simple or whether that process is difficult for people that end up buying packs. And if it's not simple, then I need to find out a way to make it, basically. But yeah, after that, immediately after that, it will be make sure I go into Unity and I build out every floor of every one of the buildings that are in the buildings prefab folder with interiors. But they won't be like built into the building prefab, they'll be separate prefabs. Because I think with something like this, the last thing you want to do is walk into a building, still be rendering the entire exterior. So you're probably going to want to either have some code to turn the exterior off and keep just the room that you're in on, or, so like streaming, or occlusion culling will do the rest. Occlusion culling is expensive, I think. I mean, I've just, like the big scene again, I've just slapped occlusion culling on. I'm just like, okay, 0.5 meter holes, go. And that does a good job. But you do kind of get an overhead for, you do get a cost for using occlusion culling, just like you get a cost for using logging. So it's balancing that. But I trust people to know their game and, to understand how they want to use a pack like this.
Hello, don't trust people. They're not there to be trusted. They're there to send you emails while you're sleeping and then complain that you haven't replied to it.
Oh man, I've had that with my fair share of games. So when we released, yeah, well, we didn't have too many actually. Our game did okay. We had maybe maximum out of 5,000 people who download 10 emails saying, oh, can I have help with this? Which I think was all right. These, I think a lot less people are going to pick these packs up. So I'm happy to kind of chat to them and help them with their stuff, because every single time that someone picks one of these packs up, um, is really valuable for us. It helps us sort of grow, continue to. I say us. I'm in the mood. I'm in the mode of saying me. To build more packs.
You got to say us to make it you sound bigger.
Yeah, it's
the
just
royal
a slip of the tongue. I always have to put that on when I'm talking.
Are you going to grow Astrofish Games and have more artists working with you?
Yeah, the way I want to do it is, if we can make the business model work, which I built the business model based on the most pessimistic figures I possibly could, and I think it works because I mean, these packs have a long lifespan. I mean, they will sell for a long time. And so as long as you can build enough pack in order to make sure that you're covering at least your minimum burn, so you can just work, that's it. Then you can start to go, okay, we're going to systemize. We're going to really refine our approach. We get a couple more artists in to refine it. Yeah, I'd like to get a few more artists to help build this, and then. You know what I'd love to do? This is quite far out there, but I reckon the next 10 years we're going to see a lot of it. I'd love to build an AI to help build these, like neural network type stuff. Like Tesla cars.
Yeah.
The way in which you feed them image data, and then you build a neural network of I would love to be able to build an AI that would look at the way I sculpt stuff and go, oh, okay, so when you're sculpting a corner of a box, this is what you do. Okay, all right, I'll do that. Okay, so we have a Unity scene using these module packs, and this is how they snap together to make a building. Oh, this is a building, really? Okay, I'll do that.
I think they're already on that way, though, mate. I think they're already there.
They are.
Oh, Yoda,
the next big thing.
There was a talk about that at Unite a time or two ago. So if they were talking about that in Unite, or are you talking about AI, or are you talking about?
I haven't seen any of that. I know big. Oh, hold on. Thanks, San Joe Sousa. The Ground Runner Trials looks awesome. Give it a go, man. It's a lot of fun. I miss it. I haven't worked on it in a while. I know the big publishers, or not the big publishers, the big software people like Substance, like Adobe. They're building more and more AI to do stuff for you. I haven't seen the Unite talk, but things like removing shadows from photos so you can use them as textures. Like they have an AI to do that now. No, that's where it's going, and I think artists won't suffer. Artists will be forced to adapt. They won't suffer. Basically, it will be more based on your own style, more than how I can learn the tech and how I can systemize what I'm doing. It will let you be more creative. So,
it's going to be a different type of artist.
I think so. If I can have an AI, like you could sell your style. So it's like, okay, so an AI has learned how I've sculpted this. Now I can sell this AI to go and sculpt 1 million assets for people the same way that I sculpt this. That'd be great. That'd be amazing. It'd be like Substance Painter, basically. Okay, I've designed this substance, and now I'm going to sell that substance to millions of people, not millions, but tens of thousands of people, so they can now build as many materials as they want, in the same style.
I'm a little bit nervous by that.
Really? Why?
Yeah,
Why does it make you nervous?
I'm nervous about how far that's going to go. Of like, people going to have like parts of my brain in their house.
Well, Neuralink, maybe.
Barack's saying, check out Promethean AI. What is that, dude? What's Promethean AI?
No, Promethean AI. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Former Naughty Dog's text artist automatically generates game scenes.
Yes. No. So my friend linked me to that when I came up when I had an idea and posted it on Facebook. He goes, "Look at this." It might have been that actually, but there's a Unity dev. I don't know whether it's Promethean AI, but it was built in Unity where you can automatically populate a room with assets. I can't remember what the input was, but yeah, that worked really well. Listen, Messi, can I take a pause for 1 minute and then come back?
Of course you can.
Nice one. Cheers, mate. Thanks. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. One minute.
I love how you only get this in Britain, how polite we are. We're lovely. We're lovely people. NVIDIA's doing some cool stuff with art and AI. They've got a system for sketching a forest with a tree and lake, and it generates something. What are we going to look at? What are you sending my way? What are they looking at?
Okay, let's click on rock, and we gotta replace the mountain.
All right.
Let's try waterfall just by pulling water down from the top there.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be great if everybody could be an artist?
Oh,
If we could take our ideas and turn them into compelling images? This technology allows us to create a smart paintbrush so that if you wanted to create a new picture, you can just draw the shapes of the objects that you want, and the neural network can then fill in all the
Nothing is
details.
real.
If we add a water feature, the network is able to add reflections.
How can you believe anything you ever see again?
Learned it. Or if we change the ground to be covered in snow, then it knows that the sky also needs to be a different color.
This is free and you can use
think
it.
This technology is going to be great for architects, designers, people making virtual worlds to train robots and self-driving cars.
I did. I just blowing my mind by looking at. Oh, look at this. This is disgusting.
We don't make mistakes. We have happy
accidents.
accidents.
Thank you for the sub,
Or if
buddy.
we change the ground to be covered in snow, then
This
it knows
is,
that the sky also
it
needs
just
to be a different
destroys
color. Images with a lot
like
more
your
diversity
brain is
and
like
more
you
fidelity
can't believe
than we were
anything
able
it
to
ever
in the
sees again.
past. I really think this technology is going to be great for.
This is what will allow you to go, hello Siri or hello Alexa, please make me the next Skyrim. Please. Okay.
You mean they've finally made the big magic red button make my MMO?
Yeah, exactly. It'll be like, that will take 8 hours. Please describe your narrative.
Yeah, Alexa comes back and Alexa goes, I now own the IP for this game.
Yeah, exactly. Screw you.
No, Alexa.
You will get 0.1% in revenue.
So
basically how it's going.
I was going to say, while we're sitting here playing with your wood and looking at your lovely bricks and things, I just wanted to grab. Pardon me. I just wanted to grab one over here. I'm just going to grab a bit of something.
Awesome.
And have a look at this mesh over here. So we're talking about how big everything is. So let me find something of. I can't find anything that's actually big. Everything's just like 500.
Yep. The ratio I tried to get was under 1,000 tries per 2 by 2 meters. Per meter, I want 500 tries per meter. That was my geometry resolution. But there's the tolerance thing, but yeah. So yeah, okay, so 512 tries. That's 2 by 2. That's a 2 by 2 meters. The roof tiles are probably exceeding that a little bit. It's all in the text. That's why the textures are 3.7, 3.6 gig. But honestly, if you down-res the textures, it's not that bad. It really depends on your application of it.
Are you gonna kill yourself by making a mobile version of this with mobile textures?
I don't know. Don't know. I think the thing is, what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to remesh everything and rebake everything. And I've got 200 plus assets there, which I'm gonna have to do individually. It's a lot of work.
Oh, Yolin's saying you need an extra high poly version for the tabletop prints that you're going to be doing.
I have that. That's the thing that I remeshed for this. So I already have it.
That's what you've got in your ZBrush. You're sitting there with your super high resolution.
Wait. Can I send you? Can I share a folder with you?
Of course you can.
That has all of the sculpts. Well, not all of them. Maybe 80% of them.
Is this folder going to crash my internet?
No, it's an image folder on Google Drive. So you can just bring them up in Google Drive. I just need to find which Google Mail I'm using.
Dreb, this does not have interiors.
Wait. No. Okay, so it doesn't have
pre-built.
It doesn't have pre-built rooms. But you can use.
But you can just use his walls, isn't it?
Yeah. So not the reverse side of them, but you can. Can I? Go onto my Facebook, the Astrofish Facebook, and I put some good screenshots of what they look like, and also I've built it. Can I share my screen with you?
Yes, you can. I think I was about to say that's probably easier if you share your screen.
How do I do this?
With me.
Because I literally, after Ross said, when did Ross make that?
Click on that little icon, the first icon that you've got underneath our little faces.
Yeah. Oh, share.
There you go.
Underneath our little faces, share screen. This, which one do I want? Let me just launch. Let's start. Oh no! Windowed, please.
Ivy vines. Can you remove them in material properties?
Remove. No, they're not material. Just turn off the foliage. You can just delete the foliage.
We're going to give away a copy of one of these, aren't we?
Yes.
So we're going to make some person very happy. I wanted to say to you earlier that you've.
Can I give you after the stream?
Oh yeah. Don't do it now. Don't paste it in Discord wherever you do, because if you share your screen, we've had that before. It's like quickly run and redeem this.
I'm sharing my screen right now.
All right, hang on. I'm going to just do this the cheap way. Here we go. All right, so we can see. Everyone can see what you've got.
Okay, so what I've done is this didn't have an interior until about an hour and a half ago. Well, for the stream, Ross was like, "Can I see an example of this, like a small free asset?" I was like, "Why don't I just make a build, and so you can fly around it and get up close and stuff?" And I was like, "Well, if I make a build, I really should put an interior on, because everybody's been asking, where's the interiors?" So here's the interiors. I don't know how fast this is gonna.
Oh, it's nice. This reminds me of like how Blacksmith does, where you were talking earlier about having separate prefabs for the interiors and exteriors.
Yeah.
And then you just like.
Yeah, he works with blueprints, doesn't he? Wait, no, that's different one else. Okay, who's Blacksmith? Are you on about
3D Forge?
3D Forge, yeah. So I looked at that and I was like, they're just prefabs. They don't take long to build. So I'm happy just to include them for free. I mean, they should be really included for free, in my opinion. I mean, you shouldn't really be. I mean, yeah, okay, so it's design. And it takes work to do. So yeah, maybe sell them. But,
you got monetize, mate. You got monetize.
I know. And it's not. It's just. I think. I can build these really. Like, I built this less than an hour. Like, probably. I tweaked it loads afterwards, but I built this in less than an hour. And I guess if I was to do all of the buildings, and there might be 20, I think it's 50 buildings or 30 buildings, something like that. If I built rooms for every single one of those, it might take a week or two, but at least I've done them. It's not like I'm spending 3 to 6 months building a new asset pack.
Yeah, but that's a week of your time. You got
but the thing is, people purchase it. retention. The one thing I understand about this is quality is everything here. Like you've got to be able to offer something that is growing, and you've got to be able to offer something that responds to the people that buy the packs and like, we need this. Like, it's something we need. And if it's going to be something that's going to take me months to do, then I say wait for the next pack. If it's something that I can go, there's a tolerance. Just like with poly count, try count, there's a tolerance. You go over that resolution. Just with this, there's you have to. I think if I get told we need interiors, and I know that I can build interiors for everything, whilst working on like interlaced with other stuff, I'll do it. Just because eventually we're going to be having a lot of these packs, and I want people to know that when they purchase one of these packs, if they're not completely happy, you don't have everything they need within a certain tolerance, then it will go in there. Because for us, we want people. We need the most valuable thing is for people that use these to be happy. That's why. If I can do it and I'm not crippling myself, then I'll do
it. You are going to get somebody who's going to give you a 1-star review because it doesn't come with a ready-made game or something stupid. You need to prepare yourself for that.
Yeah, but those people are relatively irrational. This is and it's a small percentage. This is even more contributing to my argument of you've got to respond to the people that you're collaborating with providing these packs, because they're the people, again, as you say, they're the people that are going to do your product. And if you can have a one-on-one with them and add value to their process, then hopefully, especially if you ask them, I'm going to ask every single person I know that will buy that. Of course, I'm going to ask them, hello, please could you review my pack, please, with a sugar and cherry on it. Because obviously it's really valuable, to having every subscribe, every Facebook like, all of that stuff. People would start to click of a button, but it's like, you must know this. It helps so much when you're trying to start something new. Oh my God.
What tends to happen, unfortunately, is that people filter for that 5-star asset. So if someone doesn't have 5 stars, then they just don't even see it. They've just got They've got blinkers on.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, though, one of the worst things about the Unity asset store is that it just takes a couple of people posting mindless, like 1 stars of this doesn't come with HDRP. It's not HDRP ready, even though it doesn't say anywhere in the description where it would be HDRP ready. They'll still give you a 1 star for it.
Yeah.
And then you drop down to 4-star, not a 5-star asset.
This is why we're not going to be complete. And this is just one facet. This is one aspect of it. So yeah, we'll get on Unreal. The culture is still the same everywhere. So, but we're going to try and diversify all of the. Okay. Am I allowed to start from the beginning, please? In my explanation. Okay, this is how it goes. This is how I'm viewing it. Right. We want to build an environment pack. Great. This needs to be able to cover the time that we spent building it, and maybe allow us to build these quicker in the future, which means profit, a little bit of profit. How do we do this? So we know these packs have long, great. So people will continue to buy them for a while. We need to make them affordable enough so that people will get a lot of value out of it. Hopefully we'll be doing that. But we need to strip them down to all of their component parts. So we're going to sell all of the sculpts. We're going to sell all of the meshes that made up the sculpt. We're going to be selling UHD pack, a HD pack, which is a polygon pack, hopefully a World of Warcraft style pack of this, because we have the sculpts, we can do that, and I know the process that they go through in order to get the World of Warcraft style, the mobile pack. But we need to refine the process so that it is affordable for us to be able to produce them, and really affordable for everybody else to get. And ideally, we want to go the Elon Musk route, which is provide, it's probably not 10x, but like we want to provide a good amount, a good quality, a really, really good quality, but like we want to minus 10x the cost of production. We basically want to try and make it really cheap to produce, really cheap for the consumer to buy, and really kind of drive home that sort of, that sort of thing. That's the roadmap for the business, is make producing environments the highest quality, cheap enough for the average person to just pick up and start playing around with. Because at the moment, stuff like this is kind of confined to AAA studios and whatnot, but when really it really doesn't need to, doesn't need to. No one else is really picking up on it too much. I think maybe they're starting to, and if you go to the Unreal store, honestly, I'm really not trying to blow my own trumpet. I just see there's a lot of processes that that people aren't going through. There's so many easy to do processes that you just give your asset. This. If you look at it from a pipeline, like a production pipeline point of view, if you create a production pipeline in such a way, then you can derive loads of products that are going to then pay it back. I could really easily do a Cinti novel. It wouldn't be hard to do. The thing is, I could really, but they're amazing. They led the way with the asset store, as I said, and they, the USP that they have, and I said on their Discord, the USP that they have, and they were sort of going, Snaps are collaborative. I said, look, this, you can sell the way in which you tell a story with your environment, the way in which you composite that you compose them, the way in which you sort of show off most of the characters, telling us all of that. That is your brand, is essentially the most valuable thing. Like, the style isn't too hard to replicate. Like, I'm taking each one of these assets, and because the poly count is there, and they're all derived. The poly count is derived from the sculpt. I can just slap some color on it, remove all of the smoothing, and you have that.
So one sec, mate. Tech Trader saying that the voices. Is it because we're sharing the screen, or maybe we stick microphone inside your mouth?
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me?
Is that better?
Better? I'm kind of on my soapbox now.
Tech Trader, is that better? Oh,
way better. Turn off the screen?
There you go, much better.
Okay, good. Sorry, I'm talking into my webcam, so I'll keep my webcam in my hand now. So, I mean, it'll be a journey, and hopefully lots of people will come on the journey with it and see it evolve. And I think anybody that's kind of with us now, I don't know, I'd really like to, the most valuable people to whatever the business becomes. And I want to see this as a journey to building something that is just going to make environments as higher quality, as lower cost as possible, because with all the technology that's on the horizon with AI, it's gonna happen, and
So you're preparing yourself for that, basically. You want to get yourself in the position where you're ready for that eventuality when it arises.
I hope so, and I think every industry is going to go through the same thing. But I think right now what we don't have is a team of AI programmers building software to automate stuff. However, the process is there. So we're manually looking, where can we automate? Where can we make it efficient? How can we take this pack and refine it so that everybody loves it, and was really happy. And I know obviously that's impossible to do. I was watching some Y Combinator, they're an accelerator in Silicon Valley, videos, and a lot of what they were saying was, you listen to the people that are using the product and listen to the problems they're having, but you are going to get way more features from them than you can handle or that is even possible. And sometimes people don't really understand sort of the makeup or your production pipeline. So listen to their problems, and then come up with solutions. So absolutely, I mean, all of that is golden. Like, I know, when you look at flip face and stuff, and not even that, but like all of the things, just chatting to you when you first opened the pack, that's amazing. So we can kind of implement stuff.
Well, the more people you're going to get buying your stuff, the more feedback you're going to get. Obviously, you're going to get some nice feedback from the person that we're going to give away a copy to in a moment as well.
Hopefully, yeah.
Absolutely. I have to say that it is, out of all of I've seen, I did the maths the other day. So I've reviewed now on video close to 300 assets, and in not on video about 500. And I have to say that this is,
it's all standard. Sorry, go
on. So standard shader. Yes, this is standard shader. So you're not doing HDRP or anything.
No.
Which is scary, because this is one of the nicest looking assets that I've seen in 500 odd assets that I've reviewed.
There's no need to use. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. I mean, coming from someone that has been so involved with the Unity Asset Store, that means a lot. And it's you're right. I mean, there's no real need to use I've noticed recently, ever since Unity fractured into low render pipeline, high render pipeline, whatever, HDRP. Honestly, all you're getting from HDRP, really, I think, is nice shaders, nice lighting, nice post. Maybe it's calculating the geometry a bit better. I don't know, but really, the same with all of these videos. Like, Unity versus Unreal. You just build nice assets, and it works.
HDRP for me is going to make a difference, and I'll touch it after when it's finished. So when it stops being, beta and work in progress. But it's the lighting. If it's going to resolve, and I haven't played with it I haven't touched it in about 3 months. If it resolves all of my headaches with performance and the quality of Unity lighting, then I'm sold on it.
What are you struggling with the Unity lighting?
There
are lots of places. There are lots of places, but it was just really interesting to know where sort of things are. It's not great. For a start,
it's evil, and if I'm going to bake in a thing, then I'm not allowed to touch my computer for 6 days.
Oh, Enlighten. Okay, can I give you some really good tips with Enlighten?
You could give all the tips, please.
Okay, so Enlighten clusters based on UV islands. So if you have, let's say you took an object and you automatically unwrapped it and it fractured it into about 1,000 UV islands, you are going to be sat there for 6 days. You want as little UV islands as possible. There's that. Reduce your ambient lighting as small as you possibly can. It's a really low frequency. You don't need it really high. You can I put it to 0.001 pixels. That is the biggest overhead you could possibly have for Enlighten. Your direct light, you can have 10, 20 pixels or whatever. I think the entire scene, the entire demo scene for the big one, takes half hour maybe to bake. That's because don't have as little lights as possible. So all my point lights are real time. I only have the direct light as a mixed light because I only care about because my shadows are so pulled in at 30 meters. I need the shadows at a distance. I don't need the point light, and I need the really big lighting. So the really low frequency lighting. If you're only rendering one light, you're only calculating for one light. I tried rendering the demo scene for this with all of the point lights. There must have been like 50 point lights, and one that took hours, and it crashed. Ultimately, it crashed. Or have you ever had it where your final gather crashes and it just freezes your computer?
Yes.
Yeah, I get it all the time. Now you don't need to. The reason that happens is because Unity is lovely, but our CTO, Astrofish CTO, he used to work at Unity, so like we know Unity very well. It's I'll stop there.
You're trying to be as pragmatic as possible, yeah, but it's eating you up inside. I would say one thing. I have two things. One is you need to get yourself a copy of Bakery. Have you played with Bakery yet?
No, what is
it? It's a lighting alternative for Unity, and I only use Bakery now. I don't use Unity's native own lighting. It is lovely. I've actually interviewed the guy who made it, so you can. I'll link you later the interview that I did with him, so you can watch it. It blew my mind. It is beautiful. And the other thing is what Yolan has just written in chat, and I think everyone agrees. You need to do a video tutorial on setting this up. Now,
can I ask a few questions about that?
Which one? About you doing
setting up the kit?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the same as it's almost the same, apart from the information that is stored in the textures from the sculpt. The only reason the way it looks the way it is because of the sculpts. I don't think it's anything else. This is why it can run standard, normal Unity, all PBR, same standard shader, etc. The demo environment, that would need an explanation on what settings you would need in Unity in order to run at between 40 to 70 FPS. However, just taking these assets and bashing a house or out, that's purely design. I can do a design tutorial, and I can also do a tutorial of how to set up your Unity to run the demo scene at a reasonable frame rate. The other demo scenes doesn't matter what you do, they should just run at a really good frame rate. This is why I designed sort of the multi-tier, one house, small scene, really big scene. That's the reason I did it that way. If you just wanted a small, like 3 houses, 5 houses even, scattered in a small village, that would run really well. If you wanted a dense, like 50 to 80 house scene within 100 meter radius, or that demo scene is within a 70 meter radius, there is so much geometry packed into that. I can do a video of how you can best do that. Yeah, I think that sounds fun. I'd like to do that. I'd really love to know how you would plan to use the pack, and how you would need, what information you would need in order to get you set up.
That's a challenge for people on the Discord, Discord in chat. Everyone, you're in the Discord. Chris is in the Discord. One of you is going to win this now, but I got a feeling that there needs to be some kind of I'm going to say competition Explain my Discord in chat. There you go. I'm going to start the raffle now because I want a winner. I hate to interrupt, but my friends, Mr. Astrofish, you got to run. Oh, Maxi, have a fantastic time, buddy. Thanks for popping in. Give all my love and kisses to Jane, and hope to see you again next week.
Likewise.
We've got another one.
Thanks, Max. I hope you're all my best to your girlfriends. See you in a bit.
Let's do a giveaway. Exclamation mark raffle in chat to win a copy of this beautiful looking thing, which is ridiculously pretty, I have to say. I still can't believe that it's just a standard Unity shader.
You know, for someone that's typically known as being quite critical, this fills me with joy.
It's not natural, is it? I shouldn't be nice.
No. It's good. I get worried whenever someone picks up a pack and whenever. I mean, I think we've had 3 so far. I think I'm like, I hope they get on with it okay.
I'm waiting for something to be wrong with it.
Yeah, me too. I want that as early as possible so I can fix it as quickly as possible.
Well, I gave you the stairs.
Yeah.
So I had to increase the step size on the controller.
These steps. Okay, cool.
So it was in the other demo scene. So I just had to increase the step size on the FPS controller for him to go up on.
Okay.
It's nothing that somebody wouldn't be able to tweak themselves and get it to work. It was just like out of the box, drop it in, stutters a little bit, get stuck.
Cool. Okay. Thanks, man.
I couldn't find anything where you had anything missing. Like look up there and there's a hole. I haven't been able to find that yet.
Mate, there might be.
I thought I did. Here, I went. Oh,
holes are fine.
But that was.
They're all watertight meshes, so they're basically like Lego blocks all chucked together, like Lego blocks. Well, they're not Lego blocks. You know what I mean? This is my. I'm not going to call it a slogan. It's not a slogan. I don't know what to call it, but holes are all right. I think
that would be the weirdest slogan.
Yeah, holes are great. No, throw together. Look at the roofs. You still have a look at one of the roofs. It's all higgledy-piggledy, but that's great. That's what adds to it. Like these roofs are like essentially 2x2 boxes, but they're like slapped together, like overlapping, but they're designed to do so. That's the point. So it doesn't look all even and linear. Go to gamma. It goes to it's sort of rotated here and a bit higgledy-piggledy. It's a medieval village. You're gonna get. But also, you have to be mindful of. You might have, again, like on a AAA, like on a large studio, you might have 5 environment artists using your kit. There needs to be room for error. So chuck them together. Like the gamer will, they'll big gaping holes. They'll care if you look through and see ugliness in a roof or something. But I think.
As long as they can't fall through it. Let me show you something when we're playing about with this, and I just want to show you something. That's one of the other things I like to do. I like to poke holes at other people's things. Dreb Fu for I'm not sure if you missed it earlier. We've actually had that question a number of times and answered it a few times. He's hopefully coming out in a week or so, for how long it takes Unity to get it on the store. So maybe in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, who knows?
Yeah,
it's going to be your low poly, and it'll be about 25 oddish quid. The low poly Cincy Studios beta that Astrofish is going to be working on. It's got you also got your Are you working on Red? You want to play with like a retro Star Wars kind of theme?
Yeah.
So are you going to do a sci-fi?
Let me bring up my notepad. Yes, no, okay. So in my head, I have been thinking, okay, so what genres? Big top-down genres, like medieval, sci-fi, blah 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 blah. What can we do? And I think it would be good to spread out from this point to another range as wide as possible, which would be sci-fi. And I've had experience. I mean, Ground Runners was all sci-fi, and I did a ton of research on how to get that 80s retro style feel. And I'd hate for that to lose the memory of it, or muscle memory, and not do something that I've researched literally a couple of years ago for about a year. So yeah, we'll probably take all the Star Wars movies and anything of that era. And go, okay, all the panels, all the buttons and the flick switches and the way they do the door, all the 80s form factor. If you take a Game Boy, you look at all the slices that they have that go around the plastic. It's like, all of that stuff. Take a gun from like a laser gun from TNG, Star Trek TNG, and you have a look at the way in which, again, you've got all the lines that go around the different greys.
Don't get yourself sued.
No. I'm just saying 80s form factor, it was spread throughout all the sci-fi, everything. There's a very specific form factor that everything had in the 80s. Anyway, like, I'd love to do a sci-fi kit based on that.
I'd love to see you do a sci-fi kit.
Again, I can post my... Can I share my pin?
You can do. I just want to show you something first.
No, go for it.
Right, so... This is. Has he got the? Hang on 1 second. Where's the camera? Where's the blinking camera? There it is, camera here. I was just looking at it. Okay, post processing's on. Now, are you preparing yourself? Are you prepared?
Yeah. Boom.
All right. So. Look how this is looking with the post processing.
I can probably tell you every single thing they use.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna turn it off, and this is what just makes me sad. Is the drastic difference.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, it's just because look, whenever you have flashy lights anywhere.
Well, it's not just the lights. It's the fact that you're changing the color and everything.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So have they got a yeah? Okay, it's like a saturation or hue difference. Yeah.
You got the color grading in there. I mean,
I think.
And the other thing is this. Watch this. You're gonna love this. Did you see that?
So is this
Did you see that?
I did. Oh, I saw that. You drop down through the floor.
Yeah.
Look, this is a demo scene. So, and this is an art asset. So it's not a design scene. Is my opinion. So, like, I think that's okay. So they're not releasing a game.
No,
it
is a demo scene of an art asset, which again, but that's evidence. See, I'm critical on little things like, we're like, okay, I want to be able to just plug and play this corridor that they're providing. But,
yeah, but if this was, so I'd understand if people were just trying to if this was a game, like if they were to turn this over, if this was just what do they call it, asset flipping?
Yeah.
If this was like, I'm going to take this, I'm just going to stick a VR camera and I'm going to stick it on the store and I'm going to sell it for $20. Have a walk around. I've got a bit of text in there, like, and okay, fine, but oh no, I fell through the floor. But I think you're right to be critical on the demo scene. The demo scene, at the end of the day, the demo scene is part of the product.
Exactly. It's the advertisement.
Yeah. People are buying this to have a look, see how it's supposed to fit together properly. There and there's holes in the floor, and it's not. It's a bit like, let me try to think me try and think of an analogy. So it's a bit like going to a shop that is demoing a like a car or a product. You sit in the car and it stinks. Like, let's say you go to an Audi showroom. You sit in the car and it's like someone's farted in it. And you're like, oh, I don't want to buy this car now. It's like you walk around this demo project and it's like, oh, I fell through the floor.
That is the
and,
best.
like,
I love it. That is somebody has farted in my Audi. From now on, that will be in my reviews. There's some. Oh man, this asset. This has got the somebody's farted in my Audi prize. So there you go. I wanted to show you what you're competing against on the asset store.
Thanks, man.
And there's one of these things that. This is what we're saying. It'll be good if when you're doing your tutorial videos or your dev diary, whatever videos, artist diary videos, to show how, because you've got a post-processing profile in yours.
Yes, but I've also in the screenshots. There's one that shows post-processing on, post-processing off. And I think the biggest thing that post-processing gives is two things. It's literally, I think it's bloom, but then there's not much that you get bloom from. Fog, because you can't have fog now, apparently, with the I know you've never been able to have fog with preferred lighting. Anyway, the fog's cool. The auto contrast. So the auto contrast is amazing. But yeah, you're right. Like the post-processing should never sell it.
And that's what makes me sad about that one, is that it is all like it's so drastically different with the post-processing, and it would be good for you to like show in one of your little dev diaries how you make something and how you can tweak and make the lighting and the post-processing work to enhance it, work with it naturally, rather than so drastically convert it or rent it to something different. Should we announce who won your wonderful asset?
What's that? Sorry.
Should we announce the winner?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, I need a drum roll. That's good. Now, apparently, Distant Temples has a reputation for winning everything.
I see.
So we're going to click and pick a winner button, and it's going to say it is completely random. You have to be a follower. Tech Trader.
Hey.
Send me a message on Discord, buddy. Send me a message on Discord and a DM on Twitch.
Tech Trader, jump on our Discord. Let me know how you get on. I'd love to hear about it.
Congratulations. Oh, unfortunately, Tech Trader didn't respond within the 1 second that he needs to be able to claim it. It took him 3 seconds to respond.
3 second rule. Oh,
yeah. Unfortunately, he's lost out on that one. This is nuts. This is really. I mean,
this is without lighting on at all now.
Yeah, is it exactly? So this is how I like to look at things, and this is like where you see a lot of my reviews. I would turn everything off and just look at it raw.
Do you want me to show you the ZBrush stuff?
Yes. Oh yeah.
I can launch ZBrush and bring.
Let me put your.
Give me a few minutes. Give me a few minutes.
Hide all of the inappropriate things.
No, I've got to sort through files, project folders, and bollocks.
I'll put my big head on. Put real Ivy on it. Oh, I'd love to. Did you? I don't think you saw the video I made with Aquarius Max's.
Wait. Is that it's like an auto Ivy?
Yes.
Yeah. No, I saw that in my reference. But I didn't. What is that? It looks quite similar, actually.
It is beautiful, real Ivy, and I basically squirted Ivy all over Aquarius Max's place, and my kid was sitting. My kids were sitting on my lap, making me write their names in Ivy.
Oh, amazing! I guess it uses all the collision, and like you basically does it instance? How do you know what the meshes look like?
I'll blow it up and show it to you.
Yeah. Do you want to? Tomorrow. Cool. Yeah, awesome. Module.
Tick Trader says there was lag on stream. That's why. That's why he didn't write it within 1 second. Everyone thought it was going to be Distant Temples the winner. Even Distant Temples was preparing himself for what he was going to make with it. Give me an exclamation mark in chat, boy, an exclamation mark, HD Village. Exclamation mark HD Village in chat. So at least now you can click it yourself.
Yeah, go guys.
And then you can go and buy it because you didn't win it.
That'd be amazing.
Alright, shall I show everyone what you're showing me?
Is my screen still sharing?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Oh, I had no idea.
And all the inappropriate things you had on as well.
That's how you could see the notepads. I had no idea. Okay, hold on.
Barak says he's already saving up for this asset. He's not even making a medieval themed game. Just make sure you use my link, Barak. I know you like to use the asset, that other asset sales website.
Marketing going on.
But don't forget to use my link.
Sorry, I'm trying to find this. I'm trying to find the right.
I would call it fantasy medieval. It reminds me of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Bit Lord of the Ringsy.
Yeah, it's I think it's a combination of lots.
All right, shall I show it or?
Oh no, go for it. Oh wait, no, I haven't got anything. I'm still looking at these projects.
Black Friday and Cyber Monday around the corner. They are. I will be, so everyone's aware and prepared. Prepare yourselves, everyone. I will be working flat out to try and cover as much stuff during the sales as possible. So I will be doing a load of things on the sales. I will be doing loads of reviews. Hang on, where's that mobile gone?
Okay, this
ebook, isn't it? And also don't forget there's an exclamation mark ebook. Right, shall I show now? Is it safe to show?
Yeah, why not?
Okay. There we are.
Okay, so we've got everything. This is all sculpted. Come on.
You're gonna provide the printable versions. So like Yolan, who's got a 3D printer, is going to be able to get the high res meshes.
I think, provided that, because these files are quite.
Oh, Gildar says your mic sounds like you've dropped your microphone on the floor again. You need to stick you need to secure your webcam back inside your mouth.
Okay, every time I turn this, my mic goes. So I'm gonna leave it here. You there?
Big Gamey says he needs to run. Big Gamey buddy, have a fantastic night and day, buddy. Thanks Messi and Chris for a great stream and a generous co-donations.
No worries. Have a good night.
Jan says this would make a great print on a resin printer.
Yeah, so I think this can all, if it's not ready, it can be made watertight really quickly. I think what I can do is the step between making this into something that can get remeshed quite easily, that's already watertight. So yeah, it should be able to be put on a printer. The thing is, what I don't want to do is make a and then say it's printer ready without testing it. The testing, which is the thing that is the pain in the bum,
I tell you what, Yolan would be very eager to sit there printing a load of your models out on his home printer.
I can give him a couple. I'm happy to give him a couple of high res, and if he wants to do that.
Wouldn't you, Yolan? I'm speaking for him. He goes, yeah, I'll do the testing.
Hey, cheers, Yolan. Thanks very much, man. Yeah, well, yeah, like we'll get in touch, and I'll send you. We'll figure out which ones are going to work. Maybe I can put a really small build, and then I'll send you the high res for those.
There you go, making friends.
Friend. Yeah, that's good. I'm new to all this internet sort of community malarkey.
Well, we're trying to build a nice little community here, and if you look on the Discord, Chris, you'll see that you've got a kind of red glow to your name now.
Ooh.
So you've actually got secret access. Hang on, let me take off the screen in case it's showing anything inappropriate. So if you go to my channel,
oh wait, yeah.
That's why I'm not showing your screen anymore. So you can.
I keep forgetting. Sorry, man.
That's all right. I'm not. No one can see it. If you want to go into your Discord.
No, I've got your stream up. Yeah. Okay, cool. Okay,
so if you go into the into my channel, not Sam's one. There you go. And you see on the left-hand side, you've got a section that you didn't have before.
I am now an asset game dev.
Yeah. So you see, there's a dev section for chat and voice.
Oh, I do. Yeah. Dev.
So if you hang on, you just gonna click the voice one. Hang on. We're calling back.
Jumped onto the voice.
Jumped onto the voice channel. I'm saying that if you click on the chat one, you'll be able to see that there's a special secret magical place where only devs live, and we've actually got two coming up to 7. We've gone 74 asset developers now. So we've got 74 of Unity's finest asset developers are members of the Discord. So a good place for like you were asking earlier about what's the etiquette on talking with other developers to include their work in your demos and things like that. There's a lot of people in there. Just pop in, say hello, and I'm sure somebody would wave their hand back at you as well.
Nice one. I need to come up. This is the thing. I need to come up with all these weird and wonderful uses for the work we're putting out. It's the one thing that I kind of, I guess you regret about making art is put all this time in, and then it has this one use at the end of it. And if you're lucky, a couple of uses. Like, I think it's gonna be really good if you can squeeze out every single use you can think of that people use, all the different things you spend hours like building. For example, like, the little ZBrush components, can people use those? Or the little, or materials, can people use those? So yeah, like talking to other people about different uses for that, like for 3D printing, for example, that would be awesome.
I also love the fact that I can just grab your pack and use these walls for something completely unrelated to medieval stuff. I mean, you could use this in like the Roman packs as well.
Okay, I haven't seen up close what Roman architecture is like. And if they use, it doesn't even have to be wattle and daub, really. It could just be regular plaster, as long as they use wood and something that resembles plaster.
You want to have a look at Quantum Theory on the Asset Store?
Okay.
He's got a couple of Roman packs. I reviewed 2 of them that he's got. The first one, I liked it a lot more than the second one. But I think the second one was still good. Don't get me wrong. I was in love with the first one, horrendously in love with the first one, and the second one was nice, but.
It's his first one, Rome. Oh wait, no, Rome Fantasy Pack 2. That would be the second one.
That would be the second one. Yeah.
Do you like Mobile Fantasy Pack 1?
Well, he's got not the mobile version, but the desktop.
Oh, Rome Fantasy Pack 1.
Yeah, I mean, I love that pack, but I just think that this would fit in really well with it as well.
Wow, looking at it, actually, it's kind of similar stuff. I guess. He's done a really good job kind of putting this demo scene together. Again, they're like mini games, aren't they?
Yeah,
like,
but this is like yourself.
This.
You can see who is coming from a game, real game development publishing background. So, he's was meant to come on the stream before. We never managed to finalize the date. We kept missing it. So it's going to be great to have him on and find out funky stuff that he was working in. But those are the kind of people that your closest competitor. But then even like he was in my top 5 favorite artists on the store, and then your first asset, you've just come along, and I'm gonna have to say that obviously this pack is in my top 5 of best quality artwork on the Unity asset store.
Thanks, man. It's a labor of love, you know. I really appreciate the kind words. I think seeing taking the time to go over this as well with with your community, and we've been 2 hours now, and I think you know a lot about you know a lot about the asset store, the different variety of. No, you do. I mean, I was talking like with Max about this as well. Like the wealth of knowledge within this niche that you guys have sort of built up is just that. It's not really a lot of people that have done it, and it shows. I mean, you're able to reference this, and this. It's good. I think if anybody that wants to sort of understand sort of stuff that you can get on the asset store, or any, I guess, game engines in general, right? I mean, do you sort of go on? Do you use Unreal?
I started on Unreal back on Unreal Tournament before it was as it is now with the editor that you can make things easily with Unreal. I used to mod and make things in an Unreal Tournament. And then I was like, oh look, Talk, and started playing about with Talk.
Which version of Unreal Tournament?
Oh, like
Game of the Year edition, sort of.
No. The original one when it first came out.
Yeah, that's the same. I was as a teenager, I was obsessed with Stargate SG-1, and the one thing I wanted to do the most was build a game about Stargate. And that's how I started. I used Unreal. I used Unreal to kind of try and sort of block out the SGC. And I used something called Game Factory. Have you ever heard of like Multimedia Fusion or Game Factory?
Yes.
It used to be. I used to use the Game Factory. They were like Node. Must have been like 14 at the time. Like Node-based sort of programming, like putting together like. I used to make. I'll have to fish them out. But I used to make Stargate SG-1 sprite sheets using MS Paint, and then dump them into Game Factory. And I made, have you ever seen the pilot episode to Stargate?
Yeah.
So the bit where they're playing cards in the gate room and the
honestly, I don't remember that. But
okay. Anyway, so like the Gould walk through, like you got what's his face in the gold armor. Apocalypse walks through and he's like blah blah blah, and he starts shooting around. Anyway, I did that using MS Paint sprite sheet in Games Factory. I've lost it. It's got lost over time, but I've got the sprite sheets still. I fish those out.
You could do something with it.
I know.
You just brought back memories of. I used to mod Civ 3. Pardon me. So I used to mod Civ 2 and Civ 3, and I made my own Star Wars mod of Civ.
Wow, cool.
And I drew all of the sprites and everything like in like Photoshop 1 or whatever it was.
Kind of emulating this thing that inspires you so much is so empowering.
What would you? I mean, given your experiences and having worked in some of these massive studios and fantastic games and iconic games, what would you recommend somebody who's pardon me getting started? Would he sit in a bedroom and like you doing as a 14-year-old and sitting there and learning, trying to make something yourself in Unity, or because these guys come straight out of uni, go to
uni.
Straight out of uni, go get a job in the studio, or go work on something from home.
Okay, so if you're straight out of uni, I have one particular method, but the original, don't go to university to begin with. There's no need. Don't spend all that money. I look back. I did go to university. I spent 3 years doing a BA computer animation degree, and yeah, it was sort of useful. But really, they don't spoon feed you. They don't give you anything. I don't know whether it's what it's like now. This was 2004 to 2007, so it's probably changed a lot. But really, they rely on you to go and research, learn everything yourself. They just go, "I'll build this project."
Yeah, it was like me when I went in, and I was, 10 years, 8 years before you.
Yeah.
And it was exactly the same. It felt like we learned nothing.
It's easy money for them, but this is the UK. I don't know whether it's different in other countries. However, what I will say is, if I was an art director sitting in a studio right now and I had a CV and a showreel and a portfolio in front of me, and I was looking for an environment artist or a UI designer or a character, what I would look for straight away, first thing I would look for is the quality of work there. If they have one asset that is top notch, that's my first point. Then I'll spread out from there. If they have multiple, amazing. Like the more they have, the more it reinforces it. However, I won't look at their CV. The last thing I do to differentiate would be to look at the CV. It's like the last thing I would do. Normally, when you're working in a studio, if the artwork is there, it doesn't matter where they're from. It doesn't matter who they are, like what their CV, what their background is. That all comes after their showreel. It goes like this. It goes work, bring them in, let's have a chat, and then let's go down the pub and have a drink. Do they fit? Is it a culture fit? And that's a big thing with studios these days. Is it a culture fit? So, especially with startups and anywhere that's sort of 10 to 20, 30 people, it's all, are they a nice guy? Are they a nice person?
Culturally, do they fit in the team?
Yeah, if they're an arse, then you won't hire them. It's a really big thing. Do they make cool shit? And are they nice? That's all you're looking at. And then it's all technicality. Oh, they haven't got a degree. Doesn't matter. Oh, they don't have any, grades. It doesn't matter.
I'm trying to get the chat up. My chat's completely frozen. I'm trying to find. Is chat frozen for anyone else? Irish John saying it's frozen, is it? So just cutting you in there, buddy.
I've not seen anything pop up for sort of 20 seconds.
I'm trying to get it to work, and it just won't work.
It could be Twitch,
Ah, it could be.
I
think it might be my Firefox was crashed, actually, on that one. But let's say you didn't go to university. How would you get into doing? A good question we've got here is about VR. You did the ground runner in VR. How would you get into that if you're not surrounded by other people? You're by yourself.
I can absolutely explain. I want to say one thing though. The Songoku Zero C. Yeah, I saw Stargate Worlds. I had a friend that worked on it actually, and then they canned it. It was in Arizona. That's where I wanted to go straight out of university. That's where I wanted to go. But they canned it before I had a chance. But yeah, to to get onto to get to where to the point where I built ground runner trials. So if I didn't go to university or didn't go to college or whatever and learn this stuff. So I got my first personal computer when I was 14. And the first thing I started doing was HTML. Like, I was like, oh my god, you can build all this. And I had a friend who used to run around. I'm from a place called Warwick, and used to run around Leamington Spa. It's like a Time computer shop. Time's an old brand of computer. And we used to run in there, bring up Notepad, type in marquee, HTML with a marquee, blah blah blah, fuck you, blah, 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 and run out, and then it'd be on their computer screen, like scrolling. But it was really immature, but it was coding, and you felt empowered, and you're like, wow, I can, no one knows how to do this. This is great. Well, loads of people knew how to do it, but you kind of felt like, because it was an emerging thing. And we used to have TI-82 calculators at school, like in physics and maths class, scientific calculators. And they had little games on there, and I spent a weekend just looking at, I knew nothing about code, nothing. I knew a bit of maths from school, but so I had a look, and oh wow, I can build. They have a matrix, so I can put little dots here, and I can do I can build like Hello World games, and then you're like, oh, okay, what other game engines are there? So what can I use? What tools can I use? And then I looked for the Games Factory, and I was like, okay, just upload this picture and use these. It all boils down self-learning, and you basically have to go, okay, what do I want to achieve? I'm at school, or I'm just, I'm working, I want to change career, or it doesn't matter really, just I want to go from naught to game developer or artist. What do I need to do? So you go, right, you need to know what the milestones are. Nothing else, just that, and the rest will follow. It's the first thing to get your first job, I would say, is just work on stuff. Like loads of people that would consider themselves like mods, or they've been doing stuff for like a decade or years, and just working with Blender and Unity and like building stuff, and they would easily get an entry level, maybe even more entry level job in a small studio easily. But the thing is, so many artists, especially artists, I would say, get imposter syndrome. I get imposter syndrome all the time. I talk to artists that have been in the industry for ages. They still get imposter syndrome. They start at a new studio. They see other people doing incredibly well because they have like big, a big profile, and they're like, you feel, especially when it's your work that you're putting out there, and it's your personality. You kind of, everything that you're going through, everything you feel, it's a learning journey. It doesn't matter what point on the journey you are. It's kind of, it never changes. You're always going to feel like that. So the best thing you can do is just invest in yourself. It could mean university, it could mean college, it could mean lots of other things. It could mean like buying a 3-hour tutorial, a video tutorial about lighting in V-Ray. It's what I did, like before uni. I was like, I want to learn. So there was a guy at Disney who did a really long sort of traditional art course about like master painters from really old medieval times through now, and the way in which they use color. And I didn't quite understand it. When I finished the video, I was like, I kind of got little bits of it, but as I started to do more things and learn more stuff, unrelated things, in my memory of watching that video, I was like, oh, I remember that. oh, I get it now. And you just got to keep at it. If you don't get something straight away, you'll get it eventually. It's all compounding. Like I didn't really learn about color theory until properly until 3 or 4 years ago. Like, value structure and stuff. I was chatting to Aquarius Max about it the other day. Like, black and white is the same as blue and red. Did you know that? Like, it's you have opposite colors, and if you use them, every contrast is a device. So you can have really desaturated colors, and you can pop stuff out with really saturated colors. They're called accent colors. Like, I didn't really start to learn this stuff until really quite far along in my sort of game industry career. So you're always learning, and because you don't know it, and someone else does, you feel, I feel like I'm an imposter in my job. Like, I should know this. But the thing is, it's always changing, and there's always going to be someone that knows more. But that's great, because there's always going to be people around you can learn from, provided that you keep learning. And I think that's the thing. Just forget about what you should be doing and concentrate on self-development. Doesn't matter about whatever everybody else is doing. As long as you're learning, you're growing. That's it.
So you say that you can't really replicate that learning experience of being in a studio, regardless of the size of it, with other people.
The thing is, what we're doing right now, this is replicating being in the studio. What we're doing is exactly what we would be doing if we were sat down as a team in a meeting room, looking at a piece of work that someone's produced and going, okay, how can we make it better? What do we like about it? What do we know? Let's do some critique. Let's talk about some of the technology. What technology is on the horizon? How can we implement that? And then people will go away back to their desk and do it. So we're kind of doing. I mean, you don't need to be in a physical location anymore to kind of feel like you're part of a studio, because we're all kind of in one studio right now. We're in the messy coder studio, basically.
It's a shame though, because I was talking with someone the other day. They're saying that like the bigger studios, proper studios, give it that name, still there's a bit of a stigma. They don't like hiring remote staff. They want the staff to be there physically with them. And even though you possibly don't need it, okay, there's a difference. In 25 years I've worked with many offices and studios remote, and with Skype and now Teams and other things and Slack, you don't physically need to be there. But at the same time, I can sympathize with the studio in that when you are physically together, it does feel like you can get a lot more done quicker.
Agreed. However, whenever there needs to be systems bigger than two people, I think it helps. Absolutely. I think whenever you need to come up with creative solutions, it helps. I think when you need to get shit done, you need to get stuff done, when you've come up with all the creative solutions, and when you have, then I don't think it matters so much. So an example would be, my CTO and I, we hired an office in London when we first started Astrofish to build Ground Runner Trials, and it was fine, but two people in an office. I mean, we work together. We work together at Ubisoft. We work together at Nordeus, Mobile Studio. We worked together in the past. It's been great. However, we work so much better remotely. So much better. And I think it's just because we communicate a lot more freely. Because you can say something and that you may think, oh, the other person may not like this critique. They may take it the wrong way. It doesn't matter. You can say it, and you kind of, you're at the computer, and you can kind of move on, and you can iterate really quickly. When you're in a studio environment, politics creeps in. Politics, if you don't get one of the hardest things to start a studio or to expand a company to another and start a new studio is crystallizing the team. That's the hardest thing. If you can't get that right, you're screwed. You're you basically if this is why like lots of studios have such an emphasis on culture now. It's because the team has to work really well together, especially if they're small, to be innovative. And if you're in the same space together and something goes down, like a designer disagrees with an artist, and everybody's trying to concentrate, and there's tension, it can screw things up. However, on a new team, but if everybody knows each other really well and they get to know each other really quickly, then that tension just fades away so quick. Or there's never tension in the first place. And I think that's the biggest hurdle of most teams. And I've seen it time and again in new studios. This is why remote working helps and it works, because it kind of melts away the politics a lot more.
We've got Tech Trader saying that Microsoft had a 3-day weekend in Japan and saw a 40% increase in productivity.
Do you know why? Because I've worked for a Japanese publisher, and they have the most insane work ethic. They, like, some people agree would work like okay, they're really hard working, and so I think they need a 3-day weekend. That's all I'm going to say on that. I think I think the work ethic is very different to a lot of places I've ever come across.
It's not just the work though. It's the schools as well. My mate, one of my old bosses, lived in Japan, and his kid in the school there, it was like more stress than you had at university. It was bizarre. Yeah. It was so happy when they left Japan, and you just hear these stories about even the kids getting into depression. And my mate went to Japan on holiday, and he said that they just get so drunk, they're like in the streets vomiting and passing out in the streets on the weekends, because they just let it all go. They just need to unwind, but because they're so stressed and so wound up, they just explode in the complete opposite.
I've heard a lot about sort of when culture can sort of suppress things to a point where it just squeezes out like Play-Doh out of holes. It doesn't matter how much you try and sort of damp something down or force a free person into doing a certain thing. They'll do what they want to do one way or another, and you follow the path of least resistance, right?
How do we get into this topic?
I don't know. Work ethic.
Max is back. Max says he would love to have more people in his general area to work with.
Wow.
It'd be nice to have more of an actual studio sometimes as well.
Yeah, I agree. Working remote definitely has its drawbacks. And it's nice to sort of have a community like you can personally sort of socialize with. And I think this is why, like, for example, Twitch streamers, they have regular meetups, like big meetups, because Twitch streamers, by their very nature, right, work mostly from home or from a studio on their own. Or they're definitely not with a big team, right? So I know, at least some of the really big guy, streamers, like I watch Spamfish. I don't know whether you guys know.
I don't really know streamers.
Like my wife and I watch streamers a lot. Like when we were having our first kid, like a lot of when we were awake at night, we just stick Twitch on, and like watch some German guy play Mario Maker, even though we didn't understand what he was saying.
That's much like my wife. My wife, she watches role players on Twitch more than she watches TV.
Yeah, same.
And she won't watch me, and she's like, well, I'm not interested in making a game. I'm interested in watching people playing games. That's her defense of why she won't watch me. But when we used to live in our little flat, and I was saying to her, you're not paying money to subscribe to someone for $5 a month just to watch them playing games. Madness is this. And then I started watching Mike the Bard, TVS Boat at the time, and it was hilarious. And I was like, actually, this is far more funny than watching TV. I was completely converted.
That's it. And you want to support, you're compelled to support them.
Exactly. And the bizarre thing
people,
is
right?
that I had a flashback of memory, and I was like, Twitch, that's Justin TV. And I used to stream on Justin TV
really?
like 100 years ago.
Huh.
And a mate of mine used
Founders
to...
on Y Combinator, actually. So I was talking about watching Y Combinator like earlier. Like he's I think he's one of the partners now in Y Combinator, the guy that founded Justin TV. Like
really?
He's part of the accelerator Y Combinator, yeah. And they're doing open AI, like with Sam Altman, who was involved with Y Combinator from the start, like, very much so. He's now working with Elon Musk on open AI. But no, sorry, go on. So you were part of Justin TV. I never heard of it until like recently.
Justin TV was great, but it wasn't. You weren't really even though it was made as a live caster. So the guy, the kid at university who started it off was just streaming himself, and other people wanted to stream themselves. You weren't allowed to like play games and stuff. That's why they made Twitch. People started playing games.
He was just a guy like in his life, like sleeping and eating.
Yeah, he just had a camera on his clothes and walked around. And I started mucking about doing that. And I was living I moved away from the UK for a few years, and my mate would put stream his TV on Justin TV so I could watch TV.
Nice.
While I was there. Obviously nothing like sporting events and stuff that would get in trouble with. Disclaimer, hashtag no suing. Tech Trader, didn't Messi go to TwitchCon? I did. I went to the German TwitchCon, and next weekend is Twitch London, but I won't be going to Twitch London next weekend. Instead, next weekend I will be interviewing Infinity PBR. Hashtag exclamation mark Infinity PBR. I think we made an exclamation mark for it.
That name itself sounds amazing.
I know,
what do they do?
It is. And he does. Have you seen his dragons?
I don't think so.
Can somebody give me an exclamation mark Infinity? Or maybe just exclamation mark Infinity? I don't know. Did I not make a command for him? I'm pretty sure I did. Maybe I didn't.
Exclamation mark.
I'm in trouble. You can do Infinity. You can do an exclamation mark HD Village.
Ooh, I'll do that.
That works. Yeah. I tell you what we'll do.
Hey.
Here's a dragon.
Awesome. Wow. Okay.
So yeah, it got some
good at scales.
They're good at scales.
It's like the wood and the scales. We've got a wicked. Okay, cool. It's like you should be working on Monster Hunter.
Yeah. And the thing is that his stuff is just nuts. You've got some. Unity Asset Store does have some amazing quality, especially now that your thing's on there.
Oh, thanks, man. I think it's loads of people are like, Unreal, that's where all the high quality stuff is. Unity, that's just settle for faceted stuff, polygon stuff, and
asset flippers. Yeah.
There are some really good designed packs, and I think it's great for tech tools. And there are really nice looking packs as well. Like Manufacturer 4K, his stuff really starting to his stuff's great. Have you seen it? Whoa, okay. Story here.
So it's hit and miss.
It's like modular medieval village. I don't know, when did that come out?
So
I think we might release it similar time.
Max says Unity is the way to go.
Absolutely, Max.
If we do if I show like cyberpunk, if I computer's not really. We've got the best community.
Although I know Max has got some amazing stuff in the works from what I've seen. I think he's going to be creeping up on the.
Max is pretty damn special because you see the stuff that he and I've slapped him about a few times for keeping his old crappier stuff.
Yeah, but he's got on it, hasn't he?
And because you can see when he started that he didn't even know how to UV wrap anything. It was just he's basically
now he's using Substance.
Now he's the daddy. But he started off worse than I used to be, and I was terrible. But you can see through his work the progression and the development that he's done, which is beautiful to see because you can really see how he's gone. Now MK4 has no customer satisfaction, and that's the problem. The customer support for MK4 only really started happening when he started getting Josh, who was in the stream yesterday, and he was working for him doing the customer support, and that was the only time I started getting replies to my support queries and stuff.
I think people just, especially artists, they just think, I'm gonna knock this thing out, I'll throw it on a store, whatever. If it sells, it sells.
Yeah.
You know, they don't care. It's hard when you don't see people face to face. I've worked in retail. I mean, I worked at Game. I worked at the Hilton as a food and beverage assistant. I worked so many different shops, and honestly, the customer, the people that you're working with, essentially these people are what drive you. They should be what drive your product. And if you're blocking yourself off from them, there's no reason why you should do that. You're definitely not going to get very far. But with the internet, it is so easy to just release something and go, it's there. That's just, if the numbers don't turn up, they don't turn up, but it's there. I'm getting loads of emails. Okay, fine. Well, if they don't like it, they don't like it. It's so easy because you're not seeing them face to face. But, when you've had to deal with people face to face and you hear about the problems and
when you got your customer walk straight up to you and try to punch you in the face, it's a massive difference.
Yes, but I think when you know how to resolve it, and it's normally just like, well, what is your problem? Do we have a time window to resolve it? And if there's no time window to resolve it, then sorry, you have a refund or whatever the normal thing to do is. But most times, I've always found there's always a window of time that you can resolve the issue that they're having, and if you do that, it's most likely you've resolved that issue for loads of other people as well.
Yeah, but not only that, if you resolve someone's issue, right, in a timely and polite and effective manner, you've basically turned someone who is possibly a thorn into someone who's a supporter, because they're the ones who actually become more vocal. You don't really get someone who's happy straight away with your asset is less likely to be vocal about it than someone who's negative about it, or someone who was negative and then resolved and is now positive about it. And if you another asset developer, I won't say his name yet today because I had him on yesterday. 10 months I waited for a reply to the email, and after about 6 emails he replied to me, and basically his reply was as though the reason he hadn't replied previously is that he didn't see the need to reply to my email. Because he was like, you can find all the information you need online, so why should I reply to you? It would just be copying and pasting what I've got on the description. And it's like, well,
it obviously doesn't value as a customer.
Exactly. It's like, well, that's not really going to make me a positive experience, is it? But going back to MK4, this pack I reviewed, one of the first assets I reviewed actually on YouTube, had some really good parts on it and had some bits that were missed, but it's an old pack. This one, which I reviewed on stream, a new pack, really relies too much, in my opinion, on the post-processing to make it really vibrant.
You were the guy. Okay, so this was a slight influence on. So your comment just there, I'm pretty sure I picked up on that when I was doing my research before I started this pack. Because I think I read somewhere, there's too much post-processing, doesn't look anything like it when you get the game. Maybe it was just one of many comments of the same thing. But I wanted to make sure that when you launched it, you don't. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, cool.
Because if you look at this one, it is completely different.
It's beautiful.
And actually, Sengoku in chat went to the effort of loading up Substance and actually completely replacing the textures in this pack, because unfortunately the textures in the Stronghold pack they don't cut the mustard, which is weird, because you compare it to this pack which I purchased, which I loved, the dark and the performance on this is terrible, by the way. The demo scene, it was a really badly made demo scene. You get 3 FPS and 6 FPS in this demo scene.
I think maybe he relies way too much on optimizations that he knows.
He doesn't do the demo scenes. He doesn't do the.
Really?
No. He's basically got outsourced. So he makes the artwork, outsourced. Some guy puts together the demo scenes. The person who did this one just relied. There's like a load of lighting all over the place, and it looks beautiful. The layout of the demo scene is beautiful. It's a bustling city, but
you would not trust, without doing heavy QA on it, you wouldn't trust someone to do something this complex.
And it works nice. I mean, to look at it like this as a video, as a fly through, it looks really nice. But to put a controller in to play it, it's an unplayable demo scene. If
he can run this, though, if he can render this, then it should run at this frame rate under certain circumstances.
Under the circumstance of what this bloke did on his super powerful machine, or it could have actually done what Unity does, like they did with the Atom and all the other stuff they do, and it's actually not really real time.
Yeah, true. That's true.
It could have been cheeky. Could have been lots of cheeky things going on there. But we're digressing into dissecting apart other people's stuff.
It's getting late here. I think it's like 1 a.m.
It is. It's 1:05. It's 1:05, mate. And there's a lot of people on the asset store that do good, but there's a lot of people in the asset store who are putting things out that we really could benefit from knowing the correct way of how to put together the scenes, the correct way how to do, like you were saying about the lighting, directional light. You don't put you put your shadows on your point lights or the other stuff, but you need to teach us, mate. You need to make us some videos, some tutorials. You need to do some dev diaries.
That is coming. I do need to, because I think building up sort of a steady stream of interesting, helpful, useful things on sort of social platforms is going to be the thing that is going to have more and more people take notice of what we're doing. Honestly, I'm not winging it. I've learned a lot from failing in the past with like VR dev and mobile dev, like seeing what other studios have done or haven't done and then failing, and I think I'm trying to employ a lot of the stuff that I learned to do now. And it's for one guy, it's hard, man. Like I think, but it always is starting off. I think whatever you do, you've got to make sure it's cumulative. So you don't want to release something and then like suddenly, it's like selling your time for money is like paying rent somewhere. Like you pay rent a month, it goes. You pay rent a month, it goes. Whereas if you have a house, you pay your mortgage. Oh, you got some of it still. You pay more. You're building towards something. So I think that's what I'm trying to do at the moment. So with like when we're releasing tutorials and releasing sort of new packs and things to help people with this, I'd like to think we're building we're building up a foundation of trust. We're building up sort of we're understanding more about what people need, and then we'll get what we call product market fit, which is we'll be building products that exactly fit what people need. And this we're going broad with this. So we're building this HD one, we're building the Polygon one, we're building all the different versions. We're selling all the different high-res assets, but we will find what fits, and we'll find the best way to do each one, I think. I'm digressing because it's late. But yeah, no, I'm massively thankful for you to taking the time to have a look sort of over all this.
I've had a blast. Thank you for popping in such short notice and with no prior warning or any idea of what we were going to be chatting about. Barak Dub says +1 for advanced intermediate tutorials. The really esoteric stuff is a bit of a black art. Great when someone who knows their stuff shares their expertise. Definitely count me in as one of your future customers.
Thanks, man. We'll be. I'll aim to sort of have YouTube as our sort of primary tutorial sort of hub. So I'll put lots and lots of stuff up on YouTube, and then I'll dump it into Discord, Facebook, etc. as and when that all gets sort of loaded up. But feedback's going to help it go smoother. So if anybody has anything that they want to understand, they want to know, that they like, again, dump it in the chat somewhere, and we'll figure it out.
Yonan says kit is wife approved, which means he's allowed to play with it. Appearance wise,
wife approved. Nice.
You'll be allowed to print and use all that resin then. So there you go. You'll be printing out.
What do you guys? I mean, okay, so I'm really a bit unfamiliar with the sort of everyone's budgets and the pricing structure on sort of what goes for what. And I kind of have a good understanding. I don't know. Okay, I've just contradicted myself. I don't have a good understanding. I did a little bit of research, and this is on for what I feel is going to provide a good value. However, I know that it's not fitting everyone's budget. So I want to kind of put the question to all of you, really, including you, Messi Coda. What would you think would be sort of, and honestly, say what it is at the moment isn't, that's fine. But what would you say is like a fair sort of average price that all you guys would like to see this at?
So the price that you see things going for, generally, like the safe price that sells on the asset store for packs is about $50.
Yeah.
And when things start going above the $50 mark, they start to be the number of sales would start to reduce drastically.
Yeah, yeah.
The problem is, you get people like Aquarius Max, who until only recently stopped being silly, and even though he says I've studied and tested for 5+ years now, he still has assets where he just keeps on adding and adding stuff. So he's got like an asset with 5,000 prefabs in it, models, rather than selling them loads of smaller ones and for the same amount of money. He sells one pack for the price that he should be selling 10 packs, because he's too nice. He's too nice a bloke, and he wants to keep on giving to his customers and giving them free stuff, which hopefully he will stop being so silly and be able to pay his mortgage, because he deserves it, and he doesn't need to be making assets with 5,000 prefabs in it anymore. Over. And the good thing is, actually, you can't do that anymore with the high def stuff, because exactly like you were saying, it's all about the textures, because your pack is too big. to be in the asset store if it's going to be full up of thousands of different models.
It's hard. You got to fracture it up. Yeah, like we can't physically fit any more unique assets into this pack. Like even if we wanted to, Unity wouldn't allow us. We couldn't add more textures because it's already full up to the brim. Anything we'd have to kit bash what we have, or then we'd have to offer another pack. So what the sort of the struggle was, now do we split the pack up, or do we do a few buildings and then another few buildings and then like a bridge pack and then I think we could have done that, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm asking, to be honest.
You've got to be careful. You need to have enough quantity to justify people seeing that you're now in that price bracket competing against other assets. And the problem that you've got is that there's a very small number of assets that meet the quality level of what you're selling at.
People can't mix and match. People can't like splice stuff together easily with this. Yeah, I get that.
So what Aquarius Max's earlier stuff was a lot easier to basically mix that with a lot of other things on the asset store, because he was at the same quality level with quite a high number of other artists and publishers on the asset store. Yeah. His newer stuff that he's doing, Aquarius Max is limited now, where he's in with the manufacturer K4s and the quantum theories and the nature manufacture stable of asset developers and publishers, where you've got now say 20 artists who are doing level of art at the same kind of I would say, quality of art at the same level that you can mix and match and drop them in. Yeah. One of the things I'm doing a sci-fi face-off, and while I'm reviewing them, these assets, I drag them together into scene to can they live together in the same scene? Do you really notice a massive difference between them? You've got that problem where I'll actually have to do a proper search to see who could live with this. I think so. Maybe quantum theory is the only one off the top of my head that comes close to be able to live inside this.
So we have an investor, and he helped us give us a 2-year runway with the VR stuff. Now we're chatting about all of this, and so there's a couple of ways we can go. Either we flood the market with this quantity, really high quantity of these sort of assets at the similar price that they are now, or we go we either go really high cost, because not a lot of people purchase it because of the reasons you just said. So the people that do need it will pay quite a lot for it, because it's going to add way more value than the purchase price. Or we go really low, 40 or 50, and we undercut, or we match a lot of the other sort of similar stuff on it, and then it's that sweet spot, isn't it? It's like, where's the sweet spot? Exactly. So we've done 4. I think we've done 3 over 4 days. Which, to be honest, if we keep that up, that will be absolutely perfect. But I don't think it will. That will help us build more packs. I don't know how it's going to go, to be honest. So, yeah.
It's the discoverability on the asset store is difficult, and it's getting worse. And there's going to be a new version of the asset store hopefully out soon, and it's going to be a lot better. So it's difficult to get packs visible. And the good thing is, like, when something's new, and if you've got a bit of a buzz going around, that helps push the sales and the awareness of it, because it's new and people are seeing it and they're talking about it and they're pushing links to it in Discord, like what's going on in our Discord, and people get excited. If you rely on the store itself to be able to do that, the new store, you're gonna have a problem. And 3D Masson and another artist who was, in my opinion, had some of the best FPS weapons and arms that you could get on the asset store, has basically walked away from Unity and won't sell on the asset store anymore, and he actually deprecated his assets in the asset store because he basically saw his sales dry up nearly completely from the asset store when they changed the new version. They're promoting their own work, he was saying, over the publishers on the store. So,
because here's the other option that I had, which the perfectionist in me would not allow me to do.
Give it for free.
No. is match the sort of level of all the other, and it's really good.
No, yeah,
but just do a ton of it.
No.
Now that literally it could it would be like a pack, like it would be like 3 packs a month. But like I won't allow myself to do that.
The problem is, if you bring yourself down, and I don't mean to be an insult to anyone, if you compromise on your quality, you're doing a disservice not only to yourself but to everyone else. So by every time, if you look at the stuff that was on the asset store that people uploaded from 3 years ago to what's on the asset store being uploaded now, it's not just because the technology of the Unity can handle better quality assets. It's because people are being pushed to create better quality assets. And something like this on the asset store pushes other people to develop better quality assets.
I think provided let's say we made a like 10% profit. Let's say we didn't even make a profit. It was just breaking even. We would continue. I would just continue to do this until forever. And I think it doesn't take a lot to do that. So I think you just need that critical. You need that sweet spot, that critical point, in which so it allows you to just keep doing it and then grow. And I think it will probably go all right. I'm hoping it will go all right because I'm not relying just on the Unity assets anymore. So I'll continue to do this, and this is why I think it might work. Is because using the whole buffalo. The whole term using the whole buffalo. I think Native Americans used to, when they hunted buffalo, they used to use every single part of it. And I think that's exactly what we're trying to do here. So going from high res sculpt down. Yeah, bison. Bison, not buffalo. Okay. I'm looking at a phrase and I'm inexperienced in the background of the phrase, but that's what it means. So I think hopefully that won't matter too much. But yeah, mate, the messy coder. Thank you very much for having me. I'm gonna have to
go to bed. Don't put the price down too low. Keep working on this, mate. So I'll catch you on Discord. I'm gonna take the kids to go watch Shaun the Sheep tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Apparently it's really good. Even though there's no dialogue.
Do you have girls or boys?
2 boys.
I got a boy and a girl, so we've got Frozen at the end of the month. Yay!
Just let it go, mate.
Let it go. Yeah, I'll let it go.
Thank you
Enjoy
so
Shaun the
much
Sheep.
for popping in.
Yeah, no problem. Mate.
Everyone, give a messy bye-bye. Put another exclamation mark, HD Village in chat. Don't forget, click on it, get it. It is, to be honest, I was very dubious of what Max was saying. Max was saying when he came onto the stream, was talking about a special friend of his that he can't say anything about because he was sworn to secrecy. But he said that when you see it, it'll possibly be the best thing that you've seen in a long time.
Thanks, Max.
he wasn't lying. I was actually, I thought, Max is just blowing smoke out of his bum, but he wasn't. And I feel bad because there's other artists in here, and I'm like, you know, not just Max, because as Max rightly says, when he sees stuff like this, he aspires to be at this level, and he's getting there. So that's why I say, you don't reduce the quality of your stuff. When you have the quality up there, you're actually inspiring others to do better as well. So
well,
I'll catch you.
I'm always here. You know, whether it's on your Discord or mine or anywhere. If anybody wants any help with anything, just hit me up. But yeah, thanks very much for hosting and you know, inviting me onto the channel. It's been great. I
will click on that leave call button before we still chat for another hour. See you, mate.
Yeah, let's do it. It's not one of those calls. Oh, you hang up.
Hang up. No, you hang up.
See you later.
I love you. Bye.
Bye.
What a lovely. If you want to see more of my crazy videos, click on the left side of your screen now. And down below, there's that big juicy subscribe button. And right next to it is the magic bell that if you click it, it will tell you if I've got a new video coming out. Till next time.